Is I miss the chart? I kind of like miss entry, or I just kind of like get like just lost between different things I'm chasing.
Sure.
So this is kind of giving everyone everything they need to see before making a decision. Then on the other side of the panel, you have the ability to just like enter into a position. So this is like the right where you get exactly where you are, like showing it there. You can switch between the different views, deciding whether you want to pursue a spot strategy. So you're just kind of like going in with more of a fixed range, or you want to do something like a bid curve where kind of like you're scaling up to take advantage of volatility perhaps. So it just is a very nice layout. The old UI also had this layout. It was just kind of stacked a bit. So it wasn't like super just like differentiated. And then for me, the real killer is just like bang in the middle, you have the chart. So the chart is always on, it's always visible. You can always see it, even as you're deciding to read information or deciding to enter a particular position. And right below the chart, all of your positions are stacked up. So you have a single view. You're able to see exactly where you are at any moment. And once that is sort of like activated, you can also see your P&L. So it's super duper clear exactly whether you're in a winning position or a losing position, and you can therefore decide how you want to adjust your liquidity position, or if you want to withdraw, close, change your range. So decide maybe to scale in or scale out, however you want to prefer, based on what's happening on the chart. So
you also have a top right there, an APIN 0.1 SOL, which I think you can configure. Dom, can you hover over the settings there? I would love to look at some of these settings. So basically what you have is like a one-click execution option, and then you can configure the type of execution that you want to do based on, I guess, whatever strategy you want to follow.
Exactly. So APIN is something that we announced at Meteora conference in Abu Dhabi, Met Dhabi. What I love about this whole view is that, again, it's very similar to the trading experience, right? You usually have like something that's configurable that you can set in most trading views. So this is giving you the same thing. You've made a snap decision, you want to go for it, just APIN. You don't need to think about it. Just enter, get your position yourself in a way that you can, like, you know, ideally make a really good P&L out of it without thinking too much. So in my personal like product mindset, if people have to think too much when they're using a product that like depends on speed, and that speed depends on how much you may earn, that is really kind of a challenging thing, because like the distance between taking the action and or having the thought and executing on that thought is too long. So 8in and this whole trading view, this whole dynamic terminal shortens the distance between thinking about something, synthesizing information, and actually executing. So yeah, I'm really glad that you highlighted it. It's right there, bang at the top, so people can just click the button if they decide that they want to quickly enter into a position.
And I got one question, because this feels like something I'm much more used to. You said specifically earlier when you were building this, you wanted to make it to where it was targeting, you know, the average person rather than the specialized trader, I think is the word you said. Can you just give me the thought process here as the team was creating this up, and like how you guys built this to attract maybe the average person or the average trader, and maybe break down the barriers where people think this was like too daunting and you have to be some sort of specialist in the market?
Yeah, and absolutely. So the team are always talking to people. Like if you hop into Meteora Discord, you'll see various team members there, right from you know, people who are working closely with LP Army as their role. So Mir, who leads the LP Army, all the way to Zen and Soju, who are leading Meteora. So they're constantly getting feedback. Also, LP Army leads do fantastic work leading boot camps, and they get feedback too. So Meteora is always gathering feedback, like all the time. And the product team are always thinking through, how are we going to translate this feedback into some product changes? At the same time, we're also looking at what's happening in the broader ecosystem. We're seeing people who are trading exhibit curiosity about LPing, and then seeing also a gap between the experience that they're used to and the experience that Meteora is providing. So it's really very like user-driven feedback that dictates these product choices, which I guess you'd hope to hear this type of answer, because ultimately we're here to serve our users. And then from then on, it goes into a process of like product development. So you decide the particular features that you want to bring to bear. The engineering team literally work day and night cracking out the features. We have an amazing site called edge.meteora.ag, which is available to the public. It's kind of like our test site where we release everything that we are working on before we push it to production. And so we had a whole campaign kind of, you know, releasing earlier iterations of this, getting as much feedback as possible to make sure that by the time that we actually ship the product, we're just further along in the development and it matches. Yeah, so for several weeks before the dynamic terminal went live, we've had this we've had it available on Edge, and people could play around, they could check it out, they could share their feedback, and many of them did. And so everything that kind of came out of that was reflected in the dynamic terminals release. Maybe there were other questions that you mentioned, but let me know if there's anything.
No, that was a fantastic answer.
Sorry, I was muted there. I actually wanted to ask another question as well. It's just kind of in that vein. Like, how do people get started? I mean, it seems like really daunting, but like, is there content creators to follow? I know you mentioned there's the LP Army. Maybe kind of talk a little bit about how big the LP Army really is. I think a lot of people don't realize how big DLMMing is, and how big of a market there is to capture.
Yeah, so the LP Army is some thousands of people strong. Like you can go off like the Twitter thing of like 15,000 followers, or the Discord, which I believe has over 10,000, or you can go off just like on the number of like new addresses that were created using Meteora. I believe the figure is something like 329,000 wallet addresses or something like that by January 2026. In the background, I'm like hastily clicking to make sure I got that figure right because no one wants to release a stat that doesn't make sense. But it is some really, really insane stat. Okay, I'm gonna actually drop the tweet to you, which has all of the data on LP Army. I will drop it inside our conversation so you can have it directly to hand. LP Army is growing at a phenomenal pace. And here's why. Like for several months, and I would say years actually, Mia, Zen, other members of the team, such as Sean, and these are people that maybe the public doesn't know, but I'm always one to call out people. Like, don't worry, I will shout you out if you're doing brilliant things.
Holy, and anyone else 329K?
Yeah, okay, I got the stat right. It's insane growth. And because they've been literally like working for years to cultivate this audience of people to use Meteora. And so Meteora is or was kind of very technical. It required boot camps and still does. And so you have people like Heavy Metal Cook who host these boot camps and they do amazing work to create so many educational resources. If you actually even go to, I think it's lgarmy.com, they have starter spaces, they have strategy libraries, they have videos, they have they have a playground that team members from the LP leads created so people can just like play around with paper money. So they've done phenomenal work to really start breaking down barriers and make LPing as easy as possible for anybody. Some of the other brilliant initiatives that they've had, allowing people to do like one-to-one tutorials with true LPing masters. So I would say that LP Army has been played such a phenomenal role in the acceleration and growth of Meteora. And more or less, actually, they played a role in making Meteora familiar to thousands of people around the world. So we have Meteora regional people in Malaysia, in Indonesia, across the world. In Nigeria, we have people who are like actively educating, holding in real life sessions, doing their best to encourage people to LP. And so LP Army is a crucial part of things in terms of our growth and adoption. And as you can see from the stats, there are thousands of people. However, we want to do even more. Like, I think that fundamentally, what has surprised me about Meteora is just how like revolutionary thinking Zen, Soju, and the other core team members are. We really believe that LPing is a movement, that it liberates you financially, that it is a smarter way to actually transact on chain. And so we want to see as many people as possible benefiting from the great technology that we've created. Like, as we call it, good fee tech. We want those fees to go as much as possible to people who are using our product and our protocol. And so the dynamic terminal is designed to do that. If people have concerns, it's too technical, it doesn't match my trading experience, okay, we're going to address those concerns and we're going to do it via just a better product. Experience.
So I have a question on the trading itself. I mean, I think crypto and Solana specifically has gotten a lot of criticism in the last few months or the last kind of almost 12 months because it's just really extractive. And there's platforms that have gotten severe criticism for being extremely extractive. I won't name them specifically. How should people, like from a trading perspective, like is DLMing and LPing a more higher probability win than the super extractive, like token launches, it goes up for 3 candles and then right back down and everyone just gets wiped out? Like that's what most token launches are like, and traders have kind of experienced the negative effects. A lot of people have been washed out of this market. So should traders be like, all right, I'm going to start DLMing because I just feel like it has I don't want to say higher probability win rate, but like it's more likely to win because you're also gaining off fees as much as you are trading the token?
Yeah, I definitely think that there is way more upside if you know how to provide liquidity, because like you enter positions, you follow the way the chart goes, you earn fees, you exit anytime. So in that sense, it's similar to trading. Enter, decide your strategy, exit. And then the fees earning is the huge selling point and the benefit. LPing or liquidity provision is way more collegiate, it's way more collaborative and like PvE. So like player versus environment is like a more kind of like community experience than trading. Trading is very mercenary. So you kind of win independently. With LPing, you can truly win together. Someone, oftentimes the LP Army lead, will create the pool, and that enables you to kind of like then decide whether you're going to deposit your tokens and put your soul into the pool or not. I think that there's still the same risk of people rugging. There are bad actors who are always going to create pools for tokens that they know they're going to like rug or try to extract from in a bad way. That is always going to exist on any of these platforms because they're largely like permissionless. I think for us, we've done really great work to sort of educate people and invest there in terms of like spotting when pools might be risky, having things on the website to highlight or report things that are not really going to allow people to make wins and gains. So I think that where we have the edge, to be honest, is actually not pure liquidity provision. I actually think the edge is Meteora itself, because you have a platform that's hugely responsive and tailored towards users' needs. You have the LP Army, which provides the education and the community, and you have a team which will really fight very, very hard to make sure that we return as many fees as possible to the people who are using our platform. So Meteora is not just any ordinary platform. It's a very, very living protocol, very, very living product, superhuman in its aims and ambitions, and ultimately desiring to make people win. I think that that is what drives us to being a much better place and a much better option for people who want to earn on chain, period. Whether you're a trader, LPer, like it doesn't really matter. You know, you can really like have an amazing experience and earn more based on the holistic way that Meteora is working.
Vesper, I have this chart up, and again, it bewilders me to see this growth. It's incredible. What would you attribute the bulk of this growth to? Is it just the ease of use, the education? Curious where would you put that?
Better return profiles.
I would say that, yeah, I would attribute the growth to the rise of tokenization. And we can now dive into very, very quickly talking about my favorite Meteora acronym, the three LPs. So Meteora is not just about liquidity pools. Meteora is also about liquidity providers and launchpads. So we have this really beautiful holistic system. We create the technology to enable people to create tokens that are linked to many, many different markets. This creates opportunities for people to trade. That creates opportunities for people to provide liquidity. And that also really creates opportunities for us to kind of like help people earn from having the best and most dynamic liquidity pools. So I think what we're seeing here in terms of daily active addresses is the three LPs. So as I said, Launchpad Tech, great liquidity pools, and also awesome liquidity providers all coming together to work well. As you know, we've had a really bumper crop year, as you could say, from the Trump launch to just many other platforms and meme coins really, really taking off. So it makes sense that it's then reflected in the growth of Meteora too, since we are really behind the liquidity pools and a lot of the technology that has helped to push forward the space. Either we've created it or people have taken our innovations and decided to do their own thing. And so the free LPs, it's really kind of a very important thing to kind of bear in note when you're looking at Meteora, that we don't just do liquidity pools, we do everything you need to really win the age of tokenization. And we also have the community who are driving forward and educating and onboarding other people. So yeah, we're a triple threat company.
And why are people choosing Meteora over competitors?
Yeah, I think that we offer the best continuously. We offer the best of infrastructure for launchpads, let's just say. If you want to create a launchpad today, you kind of are likely doing something that's highly customized because you need to find edge in a very crowded market. It's very difficult for you to do that from scratch. If you come to Meteora, you can very seamlessly use our technology. So we have things like the dynamic bonding curve, for example, which, very simply to say, it just enables people to kind of basically configure how they want their launches to work in any sort of way. If you're looking for liquidity pool tech, let's say you want to do something very sexy and interesting and you're not really sure where to go, come to Meteora. We have the best liquidity pool infrastructure in the game. So if you're also curious, I don't know what this liquidity pool thing is, I have no idea how anything works, dive into the LP Army Discord. People will take care of you and they will explain things. And if you're really okay, I don't want to talk to anyone, I just want to do my own thing, we have phenomenal resources online from our docs, which Dan and June and other team members have done amazing work there, to the LP Army starter space, which Ner and the LP Army leads have done very well, all the way to just having a very permissionless system that the team have literally cranked out for almost a year now. So any way you look at it, coming to Meteora will offer you a premium experience right from the beginning all the way to your final delivery at the end.
Amazing answers. Chill, I know you had some questions you wanted to rip through.
Yeah, just had one, and this kind of leads into the annual token holder report as well. As a trader, and we know that our audience is trader specific, I always look for markets that I can trade that I'm early to. Like we think of early crypto markets, that's when the biggest gains happen. Early kind of prediction markets, that's when no one really has it all figured out. It's really easy to develop an edge there. Would you say we're still early in the DLMMing market? How early would you say we are?
Yeah, I mean, that's a very good question and very difficult to answer. Yeah, I always tell myself, is it the beginning of the party or is the party winding down? We cannot quite tell.
Not winding down, we're just getting started.
Just getting started.
Don't say that.
We're not fucking leaving, we're just getting started.
That's right.
So I think that we are just getting started, I have to say. We have so many things to tokenize, and every time you tokenize something, you need liquidity. So any market, you need liquidity. Any asset, you need liquidity. So we are really just getting started. I think that for Meteora, innovation is really our edge. LP Army are a fantastic force which helps to move things forward. And then the team itself, the ability to kind of take on all this feedback and really ship at record speed is what will help in the coming era. I think that it's going to be huge. We haven't even really started talking about mass tokenization, institutions really truly coming on chain, high quality patient capital coming on chain. And even for Meteora, there are so many products that could just be shipped to help make it easier for new assets to experience access to deeper liquidity. And then finally, I would say we're always overlooking, I think, just in general in crypto, the power of retail movements. Retail investors are an incredibly powerful force. We saw this a lot with the meme stock movement from I forgot the Roaring Kitty dude.
Right.
When you really empower people, they do incredible things, and they help to shift some of these longer standing, more traditional financial forces to adjust to adopting the way that they work. So I think that Meteora is very retail consumer facing. Actually, you can see that with the LP Army, and because of that, I think that we are going to really see massive expansion. We're totally at the beginning of this whole space, I think, growing in terms of liquidity.
And it's very interesting, just again from a trader's perspective. You mentioned earlier, it's sort of this PVE type of environment, but those types of trade setups are the best ones to go for when you can develop an edge earlier on when the market isn't crowded. So I'm glad that you mentioned it. We're still early. I'm actually gonna, with the release of this terminal, I actually might start digging into DLMMing. I've said this on the show many times. So new markets, on-chain markets give us access to new things to trade, whether it's TradFi or DLMMing or what have you. So I'm actually gonna step into this. You're motivating me here.
Nah, gee, like you have to try it, like for real. Like DLMM, we need a new name for it because it takes too long to say. But like for me, it's like my volatility money printer. When the market and the charts are volatile, I just go straight to Meteora, Sol USDC pool, deposit Sol USD there, because either way the market is bouncing, you're going to end up with a high quality token that you're winning, that you're likely to win on, and also you're going to earn fees in the process. So I think something even as simple as that, when Sol goes down, I don't panic at all. I just say, okay, Meteora, let's see what's happening in the pool, let's see what the fees are, okay, which one is the best one, how long do I want to stay here? So that's the way that I see more people using it. Like, markets are choppy, they're volatile. You can have something of a assurance that whatever position you take for, I'm talking about like stablecoin, very top tier crypto coins. I'm not talking more about meme coins here. You're likely to benefit from doing the Sol USDC pairing if you use something like Meteora. And what's more, someone will have already created the pool. They already will have set the strategy for you. So you just enter in. And if you're really confused, you go to LP Army Discord, you talk to them. If you're super confused, you go on X. Don't worry. Like the moment you post like Meteora, I'm confused, some random people who have the affiliate badge will start showing up in your comments. And those are LP Army people. So we've seen this happen a lot. So I would encourage people to bare minimum understand how to benefit from Sol USDC pairings, understand how to earn fees from things that are kind of stable. So even USDC/USDT, you're just moving between two different stable coins. So, and you're earning fees as the charts move up and down. So, and these are the good ways to start using DLMM. If you then decide you want to use it for like, I guess, more exotic pairs, so meme coins, sure, go for it. But I think we want to make it quite clear to people that like there are ways to kind of guarantee you win if you use Meteora. And you can see you just landed on the fees page. These are the fees that people are earning. And like, oh, we have a 69% figure. That's so cool. It's lucrative stuff for the people who are using it.
I love how you just pointed out the 69% figure.
Why couldn't have been 6.7? Come on.
6.7. Yeah, that's the new figure.
Yeah, I have some young kids, and all they say is 6.7. I wanted to ask about partnerships here. Of course, there's the trading terminals like Axiom and Trojan and etc. And they've just like attracted so much attention, volume, and liquidity through them. Is it possible to have some DLM like integration with Meteor into those terminals? Because I feel like that'd be such a great offering. It's like spot trading. Some of them have perps access, and then also they could do liquidity provisions as part of their overall trading strategy. Is it possible to do those partnerships?
Yeah, I think everything is possible, right? And everything is doable. But I'm really bullish on Meteora being like the home of LPing.
Of course,
I think
of course.
I'm
just trying to attract the liquidity away from people who are on these platforms and are just honestly kind of, when we saw with Axiom, some of these platforms are a little predatory towards their users. And it's like, how can we bring people into the tent, in this way? So I just thought I would ask.
I know it's a good shout. Like I thought about it too. Like, couldn't there just be like a new tab or another view where you just like the same place you trade is the same place that you LP? But like, okay, so here is like my radical thought, which I don't even know if it like makes technical sense. I kind of just feel like people should just be liquidity providing by default. Like I kind of don't really believe in trading anymore. To be honest, I believe in like just setting a good strategy for any chart and earning fees, because I'm super greedy and I don't understand why fees are seen as a tax. Fees should be seen as something that I earn. When I first started working at Meteora, if I quickly just say, when I heard fees, I thought that they were a punishment. And only after like obviously working and using Meteora, I'm just like, oh, fees are where I earn. That's how I earn. It's not only the protocol earning. I too am getting something out of it.
We trade, Vesper earns. I love it.
yeah, why not? So I feel like I would hope that what we have will just become the default, that it will replace trading. I think that, really I would love to see the products become even more simple for people to understand and use, without taking away from the experience that, many of our seasoned users love and enjoy, because I genuinely think that like trading is really, really tough. Whereas LPing, you're able to set strategies. The platform helps you set strategies. And so you can, generally speaking, if you learn it, and there's also something to learn. Right, with trading, I kind of just like ape in and I just hope that the chart will go up. Many times it doesn't really work out in my favor, but that's just a skill issue for me, I would say, at this stage. But with LPing, I kind of feel like I understand what's happening. I know what I'm doing. I have a strategy. If it starts going wrong, I know how to adjust that strategy to try and make myself win more. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that people win by LPing. We should just be providing liquidity and see that as the default way to kind of like do on-chain stuff.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at this liquidity provision, it is trading. I mean, it's almost like limits. I saw someone explain this the other day where it's like, you have a couple ways to do this. But really, just think about like setting limits on the way down and on the way up, and anything inside that bin is earning fees on your position. It's just like a position plus a little cherry on top. It's kind of like how I see it.
Exactly. I'm going to just drop into the chat the handle for Crime XBT. So Crime XBT is one of the core content creators and contributors for Meteora's LP Army. And he has really amazing ways of breaking this down specifically for the trader audience. So just as you kind of like have mentioned, he does like these daily streams. So yeah, there we go, almost daily streams. And he breaks it like seriously down so that if you're coming with a trader mindset, you can start understanding how to win by doing DLMM. Because you're right, it's just a mindset flip. It's a few things change in the way that we conceive providing liquidity, and really good traders, or even not good traders, because who's really a good trader nowadays? Just basically traders should be able to win.
That's right. I don't want to derail this conversation, but you mentioned like 3 questions back that there's so many things that can be tokenized. And I feel like on this channel, the main thing is, you know, how can we tokenize private equity? How can we tokenize real estate? There's like RWA. There's so many different things that can be tokenized. Gold, commodities. What is your favorite? What are you most excited for to be tokenized in the future? If you have an answer.
Yeah, man, I want to see some of these like actually good companies coming on chain, and by which I mean like I want it to be the case that like there's some like young builder, I'm not going to say like Silicon Valley because that's such a cliche, or even old builder, like someone uses AI to come up with a really, really incredible thing. And they're like, okay, I'm not going to IPO the traditional way. I'm not going to raise the traditional way. I'm going to go to a place where maybe I found users, or I really believe in like the energy of the space in terms of democratizing access to really cool assets. And I'm going to tokenize there. And I'm going to do it in a way that like whoever is early and really supportive and has good on-chain reputation is going to get access to my company. Because right now, like I think that ideas and builders are the most valuable thing. So I'm really interested in the market of people who are doing cracked things and building things that will grow, deciding to like tokenize them.
And with that, Avi is on Bloomberg apparently. So he would,
oh,
I would
wow.
put Avi from Cled in kind of that bucket of one of those type of builders.
That's really awesome for him to be on Bloomberg. But yeah, like we want to see people who like are coming from like anywhere in the world, getting amazing distribution, amazing awareness, amazing opportunities because they're choosing to like tokenize. And we want liquidity providers to really benefit from the upside of that. So, but yeah, that is like a huge thing for him to be on Bloomberg. Like congrats for him for getting that.
Crazy. No, thanks for that answer. I think it makes a lot of sense. Do we want to talk about the annual report real quick and just kind of run through a bit of that? We had started, and I think we got a bit derailed. So you guys put this tweet out. Maybe Vesper, you can start at the top a bit about what you guys are trying to achieve with this annual report. I think you guys have done a fantastic job in like transparency, probably one of the best within crypto. Maybe talk to us a bit about your vision here with the annual token holder report and all the transparency you guys are putting forward.
Yeah, so absolutely. I'm really, really proud of the work that Pranav, who is the team member behind this, has done with investor relations and just all the reporting and stats that he's been doing over the previous months. So this report is kind of like the culmination of all of that work that he's been doing, talking to our investors, talking to institutions, and also working behind the scenes to gather a lot of data that reflects Meteora's really meteoric rise. And so this is a huge part of the whole vision that Soju and Zen had for Meteora and also like the MET token in general. We want to be super transparent. We want to work with everyone and anyone who will shine a light on what we're doing. We will answer any questions. We will kind of like handle any concerns, and we will continuously just demonstrate how our business is working, how we're earning, and what's going on there. I will also say that we're benefiting from wider movements in the ecosystem. So Blockworks and Solana have, I think it's called Lightspeed. I'm not sure exactly of the name, but they have a transparency initiative. And so recently, a couple of major Solana projects and protocols were scored, and we achieved a 40 out of 40 score from Blockbird's transparency reporting. So the annual report fits into this. It's a huge part of our efforts to just like be more transparent and also give people more of an insight into actually what we're achieving. So yeah, to dive into it a bit, 2025 was a huge year for us. The Trump launch was like insane for us, insane for so many different people. And also from a product development perspective, really insane for Meteora. I think it was like the first time that we really dove super deep into delivering like world-class tokenization infrastructure to go alongside the world-class liquidity pool infrastructure that we really had. And for this, I have to give like a huge shout out to Sudoku, to Dan, to Soju, who behind the scenes from around, I don't know, like February, March, like just kept shipping like product update after product update. And actually like it's really important to like hone in on this, because some of the things that have happened in the trenches would not be possible if not for Meteora's innovations. So actually, we should be thanking these people a bit more, because like all the creator stuff, quote token fees, dynamic curves, all of this stuff, like the innovation has come from like relatively few people, and the entire
DBC Dan, what a legend.
DBC Dan, like the entire ecosystem has benefited, whether you've been trading Meteora tokens or not. We all benefit when one protocol pushes innovation forward. So the annual report is designed to show like the kind of impact of that, like what's happened as a result of this technical innovation and vision. It's also designed to like really allow people to see exactly how and where people are earning. So I think you were scrolling on the DLMM figures a while back.
Let me pull that back up.
Yeah, so people might not see and they might not understand that like the power of having dynamic liquidity, I think it's just
right here.
So that, yeah, this is the DBC. So okay, actually let's center on this. That's actually really good you landed there. DBC was huge, like legitimately, like insanely huge. And like, if we're not showing these figures, people don't know. We say DBC, they're just like, what is that weird acronym? Dynamic bonding curve is what has powered so many different launch pads, enabling them to just like go forth and do insanely cool things that brought liquidity into the space. So this is like the hidden story of what's been going on for the trenches. If you have innovation, you're able to attract new builders, new markets, new assets, you're able to get more liquidity. Ultimately, all of us are benefiting from this. So you can see just exactly the figures speak for themselves. Insane, 2.38 billion in total volume.
And this this has led to the rise of, and this is why we got really excited at MCG about this whole rise back in April when Believe, and you saw like Dupe and these real world Web2 startups, Cled, etc., using this technology to come on chain. And I think like the big question to solve is like tradable tokens, like what are we trading? And to have those assets come on chain and use Meteora tech was amazing. Look, I've been trading in crypto for almost like 11, 12 years. I have to say, it's the first time I was like, oh my gosh, these are like Dupe is a real company. And it was really amazing. So
no, like I'm just going to be saying like very ecstatic things. Like for real, like like last year, I think we'll look back and be like, holy shit, that was like some insane period of time.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that we'll look forward and we'll be like, okay, that was just like the introduction. But that's the power of what can happen. Like if we're able to really build the infrastructure, we can start attracting these huge companies, and they ultimately bring the liquidity. Like, you know, some of the things that we do like more with native people, it can be like sometimes a bit smaller scale. Whereas if we're able to attract way more people, way more new liquidity, way more new assets, it also benefits the native people, because then you get better distribution. And so your small thing that's only for Solana core people now gets exposed and distributed to ideally as many financial or on-chain participants as possible. So yeah, Meteora has done fantastic with the technical stuff, driven so much change. And as I said, the work of Dan, Sudoku, and Soju, and some other engineering team members to really push and drive this forward. I'll also give a shout out here to the work that like Malcolm has done. Sorry, my thing is just like calling people out all the time. So Malcolm works in BD. He's one of the coolest people in Solana, and he's also like a man of mystery. So you may not see him on X a lot. So Malcolm did so much awesome work in the early days of DBC to explain to projects, to bring them on board, to kind of explain the benefits of choosing to launch in this way. And we can see the numbers. Obviously, did brilliant work there.
It's really fascinating, because what I'm excited about for Meteora is the massive tail end that you're going to see of projects. Most people won't even know that they're Meteora, I guess, backed in terms of liquidity, and but it feels like every launchpad now is choosing to build on top of Meteora's DBC and on top of Meteora's technology. How do you guys think about capturing that market? And anyone that does come with a new innovative launchpad and way to launch and bring in stuff, they're choosing Meteora right now. Why is that, and why will they continue to do so?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I met a recent builder when I was at Mountain Dial called David. He was on the MCG, I think, a few days ago. He's building Blastgate, which is a new launchpad designed for developers and contributors. Really, really cool thing. So I asked him the same question. I was just like, bro, like, why are you choosing us? And he was like, well, the docs are really easy. The SDKs are really cool. So we've created, and again, this has been the work of Dan, his team, and other people too at Meteora, to make our technical documentation very accessible for people, and also to have a very responsive team in Discord, to have Malcolm, I, and other people inside Telegram chat working with people who have questions, just to make it super accessible for them to build. I also think that Meteora's technology in and of itself is very cool. So if you're a builder desiring to customize your own launches, you're probably going to come to Meteora because it's going to offer you freedom to do whatever you want to do. And then I would say from Meteora ecosystem side, we do amplification, MCG, you guys do amplification too. Many times you're focused on like new launch pads, so people kind of feel, I think they should feel more comfortable launching something great, knowing that they have an ecosystem which will help to share technical stuff, or give them amplification as and when they have traction.
That's a great point. I feel like one thing that Meteor has done so well, and I think back even to the ICM days, when ICM was like the new terminology on the town, like Meteor did a very good job of just like fostering this vision, fostering the people that were launching, and like trying to bring to light a whole new narrative and industry that had not previously been explored. I think that's one thing I can give a testament to Meteor about, is like you guys really work closely with people. And I'm not just saying this because you're sponsoring the show here, but you guys work really closely with people, and I think you have a support system that most industries or most projects in crypto can't say that they have.
Yeah, it's been a very intentional approach. I think from the get-go, Soju really wanted us to have the best technical infrastructure and also the best distribution and overall kind of like offering to people. And if I kind of go back to the free LPs, the vision for Meteora that Zen drives forward so epically, if you're having like the best liquidity pools and the best liquidity providers and also the best like launch pads infrastructure, you kind of need that to be wrapped around in some way that people can really experience that. So I would say that that's like the broader vision of Meteora's ecosystem, to really make people kind of understand that we are like a holistic company, and that kind of for anything you want to do, tokenization, liquidity, or trading related, we're contributing to innovation and growth and opportunities to earn there.
There's some key highlight numbers you have in the tweet. To the extent that you are able to talk to these things, you talk about NAV per float token at almost 12 cents, cash flow per float token at 23 cents. Just, high level and to the extent you want to chat about this, how does the MET token fit in this ecosystem of Meteora?
Yeah, so this is a question for which Soju or our investor relations guy, Pranav, will definitely need to join.
No worries, I figured, but I thought I would ask.
Soju's been very outspoken.
Yeah, when you started like going for those figures, I was just like, oh, bro, like not those figures. I'm joking. Yeah, Meteora, the MET token is like a very holistic part of Meteora. Soju's spoken about like, the equity, not equity, buybacks, not buybacks. So I think that like more and more you'll be seeing more comms come out, specifically because the annual report is live. But MET token fits into the underlying business. We've made an intentional choice to launch it, intentional choice to use every part of the business to drive value towards MET token. I can't specifically speak to the figures that you've mentioned, but the intention is everything that we have, all of the value of the business is driven towards MET token. Some of the ways that we signal this are through the buybacks, but really I would say that it's not so much what we focus on. We focus more on product development as the biggest signal to our commitment to this token and its onward growth and increase in value.
I'll leave it there on that one, Vesper, but I had to do my journalistic integrity. And as
no,
always,
we have to come. We have to bring them back.
Yeah.
We have to bring them back to talk about just this annual report. There's so much inside it that would be really awesome for the team to dig into. I do know that many people have questions about MET token. I see the questions in Discord. I see the questions on X. And as a company that like prioritizes transparency, I think it's on us to find better ways and clearer ways to answer these questions and make sure that people understand our positioning on things. And yeah, as Dom said, Soju has written quite a bit on this. I think that we'll just see more comms coming forth due to the annual report going live, and now people can actually see, okay, these are the figures by which I should judge the MET token. If we're really bullish on like, what is it, $2.38 billion of volume being generated, and I think what was it, the fees figure was like, billions of fees being driven by DRMM, and you have a team who's saying they're driving that value back to the token. Yeah, I think that you should start seeing that like the intentionality that everyone's looking for, the value proposition that everyone's looking for, it's inside this annual report. So we really encourage people to go and look at it. We made the figures really, really large and like in bold, so people could kind of like take screenshots and read it. You cannot miss like the success that we've achieved over the year.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
So go ahead.
Finish your thought.
No,
well,
I was
just going to say really quick. I was just really going to say here, because I think the mistake of a lot of projects in the past is they come out with their token strategy and then they're fixed on that for years, and it doesn't iterate and change with feedback from the market or changes in the market overall. And what I love about your team is they're constantly putting out ideas and putting out concepts and getting feedback back from that and then pivoting and iterating based on that. And I think, personally, we hold Meteora as a show, so disclosure there, and we're really happy with just kind of seeing the iteration, the kind of evolving thought process around this. So I think I just wanted to shout that out for everyone watching.
And if I even wrap on that thought process too, I think Soju's been very clear and distinctive about the Meteora token. And I think his willingness to adapt to the market and do what works and not, burn money buying back if it has no meaningful impact. I think the biggest takeaway I've gotten from reading Soju's tweet, I wish I could pull it up right now, but I don't have it saved, was there is not Meteora equity, there's not Meteora token. Like, we're thinking of everything's driving back to the Meteora token in terms of business value. And so the best way, however that looks in the future, like that's where our focus is. And we're not making two
assholes who now they look up to some twit instead of looking up to Thomas Jefferson or looking up to Nikola Tesla or looking up to Magellan. I mean, kids, Magellan's a lot cooler than Justin Bieber. He circumnavigated with one ship the entire planet. He was killed by wild natives before they got back to Portugal. And when they got back, there was only...
But why?
22 million in 3 fucking hours! There is no nobility in poverty. I have been a rich man and I have been a poor man, and I choose rich every fucking time. The real question is this: was all this legal? Absolutely fucking not.
Neither go towards the feeding grounds at the edge of the ice, nor return to the colony. Shortly afterwards, we saw him heading straight towards the mountains, some 70 kilometers away. Dr. Ainley explained that even if he caught him and brought him back to the colony, he would immediately head right back for the mountains. But why?
What's your dream? To go away.
To go away. That's great.
Do you guys want to drink? I don't understand why everybody has to be so judgmental. I understand why mom's judgmental. I think it's because she cares partially. I think it's also partially because everyone else is looking at her like, hey, Cody's just a bum. Cody's this, Cody's that, Cody's this. Cody's me, bro. Let me be me.
Little muted there. GM, are we on the verge of global economic collapse here, or what is going on with oil?
GM.
What's up, Vax? How we doing? Wuhan bot, Survivor. I saw your messages, but I got to be honest with you. We are a show that focuses on technology and startups, and we don't really touch art projects. And I know that project's not specifically an art project. We don't touch NFTs or even really gaming.
Sorry about the situation, but it ain't happening, unfortunately.
Sorry about the situation. I do agree. That's a terrible situation, but yeah, we just, we got to be in our lane.
But nonetheless, dude, Josh, your call on oil, man, it's printing really nicely. I haven't looked at the poly market odds since yesterday, but I think it was at like 4%, 3%, 4%, 5%. Yesterday.
Well, let me pull up the receipts here for everyone, because I do have some. So yesterday we discussed this, and so here I'll give my view on this. I've been very long time looking at geopolitics. I've 20 plus years doing it, being obsessed with it. There was a time a few years ago where drones were landing on oil drums and exploding in either the Kurdish region or with the Saudis. And basically in this clip, I call out here that this oil infrastructure is extremely vulnerable to these cheap, slow, low-flying drones that get through air defense. And then all of a sudden out today, everyone's calling for $150 oil. So I'll show you guys the trade right here. So we have, I got in, was it 9,000 shares? So it's not, not betting the farm here. But I have, my average is 5 cents. And if this, gets to 150, it will generate a $9,000 return.
Dude,
so
if this gets even close, you're going to print so hard.
Yeah, it'll print a nice little bag. And so what are we talking about, guys? So this is the thing you got to understand about the oil supply chain. There is, I think I heard 400 million barrels in the U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve. That is enough oil for 30 days. 30 days. So everyone looks at that, ooh, big number, but it's actually not a lot of oil. Currently, the Kuwaitis are already maxed out on their storage, which that means that if ships are not coming into Kuwait's oil terminals, putting oil on boats and taking it away, they have to shut down production, right? Now, those ships take about a couple weeks to get to the continental US and in different places around the world. And we're 1 week into those ships not leaving at all. And so what are people doing? Airlines, trucking companies, individuals, hedge funds, Wall Street are all going out and locking in $80, $90 oil today via futures contracts, because they realize this is not settled. And we're not talking about gold here, which is you buy a gold future and it lasts forever. We're talking about a consumable molecule, a molecule that once it's burned, it's gone, it's used. and that energy is consumed. And so moving molecules around the world is very difficult. Now, moving a massive oil freighter that's very slow moving through these choke points, or this infrastructure that doesn't move, it's static and is vulnerable to attack. That gives us what we are seeing currently in this oil move here. So I called this out yesterday at around, I think it was like $80 down here on this daily candle. And I said, look, the play here is not necessarily that oil is going to reach 150. The play here is that once oil cracks above 100, it likely could go 110, 120 pretty easily, which is the previous all-time highs going back to 2010, 2011, in previous oil shocks. Now, I got to show you the chart because everyone says, well, Josh, you know, like,
Jeez Louise.
how is that possible?
Jeez Louise.
Right? I want to show you another scenario of something that happened during COVID. So this is why I think this scenario will play out. If you guys remember, during COVID over here, oil went actually negative $40. And you're thinking, how is that possible that oil went negative $40? Well, what happened during this time is that the COVID crisis happened. Everyone went into lockdown and no one consumed oil. And all of a sudden, what happened? The storage facilities filled up. And that meant people who were holding the futures contracts, which at the end of the month requires physical delivery, had to pay people to actually take the oil contract off their hands. Now, what we're seeing is the opposite of that problem. We're seeing the storage facilities are full in the Middle East, but they're drying up everywhere else in the world. And that is causing this shock. Now, it's not going to negative 40. It might go to 150, which is the other side of this trade. So,
man,
anyways,
I remember that oil crash like it was yesterday. Actually, Vax in the chat here might remember this. A friend who was around with me back then, dude. I remember trying every single broker to slam as much oil as I could during that buy. I know a guy that got filled so low. Man, I think he printed like, multiple, like eight figures on an oil buy down there. Something ridiculous because he got it so cheap. But crazy times. That's a really good analysis, Josh. You're old, dude.
Holy jeez.
In what sense, Mom?
20 years, man.
That's
20 years
nuts.
studying geopolitics, bro. This guy's got a few gray hairs.
Yeah, when YouTube was very, very new, maybe not 20 years, but 15 years for sure. I remember watching like conflicts on YouTube with a guy holding a camera and it's like grainy on a cell phone. So yeah, we go back.
For a while, we got the GoPros in Iraq, if you remember that. GoPros in Iraq, those were going on YouTube in the early days. I remember watching those. Maybe a deranged child thing to do, but crazy, dude.
So here, I'll kind of summarize the end of this. Like, if you don't have exposure here, I think you could. I personally foresee this going higher. That's my thesis. I'm not selling my yes yet. I think 9 cents is still cheap. Does it hit 150? Hard to say, but I think you could get a 3-4x on this and have it as a long, duration kind of call option to the end of the month.
Josh, do you have the poly market still pulled up? Because yesterday the $100 got to like 36%, the $100 option, which I thought was pretty low. Obviously, that's probably much higher now. We were talking about in the private chat a little bit. What's it at now?
Yeah, here, let me zoom this in for you guys. Let's see.
Yeah, it's at 67 now. Okay.
So what is that, a 2x from yesterday? Like if I go to graph, what we streamed yesterday at 1 p.m. March 6th. Wait,
yeah, would have been about
March. I'm bugging. Yeah, that's a 2x. Yeah, overnight.
Yeah. But it was interesting because oil was progressively going up, yet this was down 16%. The $100 share calls was down 16%. Yeah, 110. Oh, 110 just updated. Oh, they're updating in real time.
Yeah, for some reason, actually, what's my is this going to 10% yet? No.
So okay, so what's your play here, Josh? You're obviously nearing 2x, if not at 2x already. Are you gonna like book initials at is there a point where you're like, okay, we're at $120. This is skyrocketed now to 25%. Are you like booking initials and some profits? How are you playing this?
I'm not sure yet, to be honest. Right now, I'm not going to do anything with it. I'm just going to see how the weekend unfolds and next week unfolds. We're at kind of this critical moment of the war where it's like, if the US can't get a hold of the situation in the next few days, I feel like it really becomes a big, serious problem. And hundreds of drone
I'm not
boats
gonna.
in the Strait of Hormuz, it's not good. Sorry. Go ahead, Chill.
So I'm up about 85% on our buys yesterday on this poly market trade.
Oh yeah,
I'm
you
probably gonna
caught
end
a
up
lick on this
closing
too.
out here. Oh
And are
yeah,
you in the
yeah. I caught
150
that.
as well?
Honestly, that was great. Yeah, I'm in the 150 because again, like it's we talked about this yesterday. It's so underpriced and it doesn't take a lot of buy. It's like a micro cap. It's similar to a micro cap on chain. It's there. It's so underpriced. It doesn't take a lot of buys to move the price up, right? And so now that we're up 85%, I might just book some profits here. And if I need to reposition over the weekend, I can. But these entries, entries in poly markets they're a dime a dozen, man. You can easily get out and jump right back in, but that's for me personally, that's what I've heard a lot is, book your profits, like take the profits off the table. Because these things can reprice in an instant. We don't know all the information. There could be some insider trade that happens, and then we know that Trump likes to do stuff on the weekend when markets aren't open. So there could end up being some sort of catalyst over the weekend that makes the market reprice. So I'm booking it here at 85%, 85% up. So
Look,
that's
it's a good lick. It'll be
yeah.
interesting though to see how something like oil, which has been super volatile all week, performs during the weekend when it's closed. Because I think the main barometer of tracking oil is going to be prediction markets, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird to think about, but I don't know. You'll see the real time update with your positions in poly market before most people are getting them. Come Monday when it opens up again. So just kind of wild.
Do you know where else you guys can trade oil? Take a wild guess.
Can you demo
Trojan, baby?
this,
Come on, lock in.
Can you demo it?
Lock in, yo. Yeah, I got you.
Did you go
Let me
long on
see
Trojan
here.
on oil? I feel like I heard you maybe mention that.
I was about to. I'm actually looking for a short on oil. They just opened this market. Actually, it's not honestly the chart itself goes back only a couple days because they just opened up this pool on Hyperliquid. So Trojan, they integrated Hyperliquid. So anything that opens up on not anything, but things that open up on Hyperliquid can be, rerouted to the Trojan terminal in the perp section. So they had, I guess oil is, it's pumping right now. So someone opened up a pool on Hyperliquid, which is now integrated into the terminal. So yeah, great place here. I'm looking for a short on oil, actually. If you look at this oil chart, I'll go ahead and pull that up real quick.
Got you. I mean, and you kind of have the ability to do that now. You're up on, poly markets. It's like completely hedged right now. You can go short on oil and just kind of see it through.
So what I'm looking for here is just a reaction in this box. We talked about this yesterday. We can just look at more so going back just these last 5 years or so, last 4 or 5 years. But this red box here is a multi-year support, multi-year resistance level, and it's rejected off of this level every single time in the last 3-4 years, and so. What do I expect it to do? Especially as we close markets on a Friday, I expect there to be some news that comes out over the weekend. As we know, Trump likes to do his stuff on the weekend when markets are closed. And I expect this to reject from this level. But I want to see price develop a little bit here. So this is obviously the weekly chart. So if we look at the daily chart, let me actually do this real quick. Let me just make sure that I can see this on.
So, and Chill, while
a
you're
lower
setting this
time
up,
frame.
curious,
Yeah.
are you gonna then book your profits or take an equivalent size position on the short here? And get, I guess, exposure to both sides, and then you can close off one whenever you feel comfortable. Maybe when something.
Yes. So I booked my profits on the poly market trade. Now I open up a similar size. I open up a similar size trade on the short side. But I'm not looking to just like jump into the short like, you know, immediately. I'm willing to wait until either news that we're resolving the conflict, or news of like the fundamentals of it all changing a little bit. But either way, like I'm just watching, you know what I mean? I'm just watching right now. But yeah, if I am going into a short, that's exactly how I do it. I just size similar to my poly market trade.
You know what? There's got to be AI agents and bots out there right now that are like monitoring the situation really, really closely and taking trades on oil prediction markets when there's like a shift in news. Because I feel like, I don't know, I feel like they do that for sports, and I feel like they do that for other like geopolitical events. If no one's doing it for oil right now, there's probably a massive gap in terms of like, you know, arbitrage opportunity in terms of like times of announcements and how things actually reprice on prediction markets. So I wonder if someone's running a bot that's sourcing. And
I got something on this. So I just saw this pop across my feed here a few minutes ago. And so we got to understand with the U.S. military is there's a handful of divisions that are rapid reaction. They're 80 or 90% readiness and can be deployed within like 18 hours. This is one of those divisions. And so they have canceled their exercises for the 82nd Airborne, and you know, now are available to be deployed potentially. So this is not an official news of being deployed, but you know, once you start seeing exercises canceled, you know, people exactly readiness. It's like, and I'm sorry, but Trump came out this morning and said like he's going the distance here. So we'll see. Again, we will see.
Got you. And the other thing that I'm also making sure that I watch, yesterday, I covered the setup, last thing on oil, and then we'll like transition to our regularly scheduled program.
This is the thing going on in the world, guys. You know, wherever there's to make money, like
no, this is a good conversation.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Like we're traders. Our job in this market, and I was just talking about this yesterday on a space, is to make money. That is our job. And so I say this all the time on the show. We're like traders from the sense of like buying and selling on-chain tokens, right? Like we might, you know, trade meme coins, or is it utility or ownership or what have you. But the on-chain opportunity set is evolving. We now have access to a lot more opportunities via this on-chain infrastructure. So now we have access to longing and shorting oil, right? Like in a completely permissionless way, like no KYC or anything needed. So now we have all of these opportunities. What am I gonna do when crypto's in a bear market, and you know, stuff like oil or gold or whatever, or stocks or whatever, are in a bull market? I'm gonna go where the PVE is. I'm gonna go where the money is easy to make. I'm not just gonna like, you know, stay stuck in crypto. So, you know, now oil is pumping. Maybe we look for a short, maybe we get long or what have you, but we look for setups, man. We make money. That's what we do. We make money. You know, we trade on chain. We buy and sell our tokens, but guess what? We're on the poly markets. You know, we're on the leverage trades. We're getting long. We're going short. We're doing whatever, just looking for good setups. Speaking of which, if you share my screen, you guys will see this in a moment. Speaking of which, the homie is out here. You know what I'm saying? I told y'all not to trust the rally. Call this on the show 2 days ago. Dude, I don't know what else you guys want me to do, man. I'm calling entries on your favorite AI agent projects. I'm calling out moves on the macro side. We're out here landing poly market trades. Like, who else is doing it like MCG? Tell me. You know what I mean?
You're on a run. You're on a nasty little run here, Chill.
I'm not gonna lie, man.
And with Felix too.
Good.
We were a little coy with Bitcoin pumping yesterday, but you did get it, Chill. You did get it.
So yeah, man. But yeah, dude, we're traders, man. We look for where the money. We look for the money. We look at how to make it. We have the strategies to get it. It's all about spotting a good setup, man. Doesn't have to be a meme coin. Doesn't have to be on Solana. Doesn't have to be in crypto. Anywhere there is to make money. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's transition into the regularly scheduled program, fellas. What do we have on the docket for today? I got a few things.
I have a few more things on geopolitics that maybe are kind of like ties into what we were just talking about. If we want to cover those real quick first.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so there's this right here, which I thought was interesting. And Josh, I know you're the one that can give the best take on this probably, so I'll defer to you. This is from Isle Offer. Okay, he said, "Where are we now? We had 7 missiles throughout the day yesterday. In the early hours of the night, we had 2 more missiles. They had those warheads that split into 24 smaller bombs, each of them roughly 20 kgs. Those look great when they burn in the atmosphere, but on X, but no damages to Tel Aviv. Life in Israel is slowly returning. Few flights landed in the airport. Outgoing flights will resume on Sunday. Commercial activity partly resumed. Some stores and cafes opened yesterday. Most supermarkets are open. Highway traffic, which is near zero on Saturday and Sunday, and a week on Monday, Tuesday, is now heavier. I live near main Hafi Tel Aviv highway and see out of my window." And then there was this image quoted, which is the Iranian ballistic missiles like launch trajectory based on how much they were launching. It's kind of tough to see here. So maybe I'll zoom in for you. Do you have any take on this? Like, do you think Iran's just going to run out of missiles anytime soon? Like, how does this feed into?
No, it's the launchers are getting hit. They're too vulnerable. They take hour to set up, 30 minutes to set up. And in that time, plane just comes along and hits it, or a drone hits it. So, but it's not about the launchers. It's about the drones and the kind of, insurgent type tactics. Like, we're going guerrilla warfare kind of stuff. But ballistic missiles are cooked.
Got you. CRG also posted something interesting. He goes, "One word Bitcoin," and it's in response to this tweet. And you can see right here, make sure it's up on the screen. Okay. "The UAE has become a massive bullion hub in recent years," right? We know this. Everyone's keeping their gold in Dubai, right? Even Oro, for example, we've had on the show, they're based out of Dubai. Okay. Plenty of reasons to do this. But take a look at this. Gold stuck in Dubai is being sold at a discount as war widens. Gold is being offered at a steep discount in Dubai as the war in the Middle East grounds fights and hampers suppliers' ability to move bullion out of the key trading hub. Many buyers have stepped back from new orders, unwilling to pay exceptionally high shipping and insurance costs with no guarantee of prompt delivery. As a result, rather than paying indefinitely for storage and funding, traders are offering discounts of as much as $30 an ounce to the global benchmark in London, according to people with knowledge of the market who asked not to be named discussing market information. Many shipments remain stranded on Friday. The people said, although some bullion had been loaded onto flights leaving Dubai from the Middle East from the middle of this week. This is per Bloomberg. I don't know, really interesting. And of course, the case here was from CRG was Bitcoin, buy Bitcoin. And we've seen Iranians kind of making a flight to Bitcoin, which we thought was really, really interesting. Why? Because it's fast. You can take it wherever you end up going. You can move it quickly. It's very hard to trace, right? So we saw them going to Bitcoin, and we're seeing your typical flight to safety like gold. Well, it's not that valuable when it's stuck in a country and you can't take it out and you can't use it. Okay. And so it's really interesting to see this graph here where it's actually being sold at a discount now because Dubai is having lockup periods. I don't know if you guys have any comment on that, but I think it's again another bull case for Bitcoin.
I was on a spaces yesterday and I was basically talking about how as long as fear and greed exist, alt seasons, on chain, all these setups, they'll continue to play out. And so I say all of that to say, the narrative, and I said also that a narrative is a way for on chain or altcoins to be sold to the market, right? Like there has to be some prevailing narrative around, why you should be in something, why you should position yourself in it or buy it or what have you. And that's what's happening here. That's what's happening here with Bitcoin. We see that, a lot of people are in Iran and they want to jump out of their currency and into something that they know they can take with them no matter where they go. And so that's essentially what we're seeing a lot of right now. And so just wanted to kind of point that out. But yeah, the narrative around Bitcoin is it's steady, it's steady. It's still there. So something to keep in mind.
Yeah. And we can jump to some tickers. We got Ethan as well coming up in a few minutes here, most likely to chat about some tickers he's been eyeing down. He's made some really good calls recently, had some interesting takes. So it's gonna be exciting to hear from him. But in the meantime, let's go through a couple ourselves. Chill. I'm not sure if you had something you want to pull up right now. And in the chat, guys, feel free to drop.
Awesome. Yeah, guys, if you're in the chat, drop some tickers for us. We'll start off with some Solana stuff because I think Ethan, he trades a lot on base. He's familiar with a lot of the base plays. So while we wait for him to load in, let me actually take here.
And real quick, Chill, do we want to start with maybe going over some bag stuff to see what everyone's looking like for the 100K challenge that's currently ongoing? They also dropped a new hackathon, the $4 million hackathon, 100 Mac minis to each of the 100 winners. So there's going to be 100 winners of the hackathon, $4 million in total, 1 million up front, 3 million in continued hackathon
This
prizes.
is wild.
It is really wild. And they got the 100K challenge that's ongoing right now for using their app store. So do we want to check on just some of the badge projects to see how these are responding, if there's any new launches, anything like that?
Yeah, let's check and let's start by going through the one that who did we have on just yesterday? Oh man.
Calvin.
Their name begins with a C, Calvin. Let's start by checking on Calvin real quick. Yeah, we can run through these and then we can pull up Ethan here in the next couple of minutes. So I have my screen shared here. We see Calvin. So basically he came on stream and talked a little bit about, I don't want to say controversy, but there's a lot of chatter around their launch and things of that nature. And he basically, gave us some context. They basically migrated from Pump Fund over to bags, and, price is holding pretty well. Seems like the community, that whoever's holding this, disclosure, I'm not in this, but whoever's holding this, they're bullish on it. So we have Calvin here. I think for me, a big one to keep an eye on would be GSD. I did some charting on this. Just a couple streams ago, and I said, anything before the orange line is null and void. Everything after is what I'm taking into consideration on the chart, and we are breaking out of this downtrend and gaining some momentum on this thing. I think it's up like off the lows, like 60% or something like that. So GSD is doing good. We actually have the bag.
What do we know about GSD too? Because Lex has been hinting at a big update that he's talking. He's dropping it on Wednesday, actually, on our stream. Any idea what that update's going to be? I think he's been talking about an app of some sort, or leaning towards that. And I think, this is at 1.22 million. And again, when you compare it to its counterparts on base, and again, maybe this is not the same. We got to get more clarity from him. But you talk about the agents on base that are producing revenue, or some of the agents that are doing really well on base, sitting at, multi millions. This kind of seems like a good deal. Although, on-chain trading is difficult right now because it seems like it's very cultish, if I can put it like that, where it's like, it seems like only one launchpad can thrive at a time. And so right now it seems like Banker is that launchpad. So it's really hard to see anything else outside of the Banker ecosystem doing well. But nonetheless, I think Lex has a big update to drop here. I'm not sure if you guys have any more info or have been watching a bit closer than myself.
I don't have any more info, but there was a tweet.
They have a podcast. They have a podcast coming too with Solana. I don't know when that's dropping, by the way. He did mention that.
Put out this tweet here, and I'll share my screen on this. Boom. He said, I'm about to drop the most powerful coding agent of 2026. So I would say, if there's a 2.0, there's something around a GSD 2.0 coming out. It has to probably do something with an agent, which we see all these agents on base. So it would be nice to see something kind of get going on the Solana side. But yeah, that's the GSD setup here. And
I feel like I've seen him mention an app too for some reason. Did you see the recent downloads? The downloads continue to hockey stick. Like, I think yesterday they saw a crazy, like, they doubled their previous all-time high of downloads in a day, like yesterday or something. I saw the Bags account posted that, which I thought was, I don't know, dude. I just think, like, Lex is now time tested. He's been here for a while. He's been here through, the Ralph and the gas town, the two towers getting hit, going down. He was here. He stayed strong. He's still here. He's doing the hackathon. He's doing the bag. Like, this guy's pretty locked.
He took any rewards and bought back his own token, locked it for 2 years. Like,
he's moving the right way. So, this is one of the guys I think I would, one of the few guys I would bet on right now in the trenches in terms of, like,
remember from the 100K from the 100K challenge, token holders get 50,000 pro rata to their holdings. So if you hold 1% of this, you'll get, I don't know, $500 of USD. And then he also mentioned that he's going to take that other 50K and put a chunk of that into, you know, promoting GSD, but also back into the chart.
What'll be okay? So wait, so Bags is doing the hackathon, $1 million. They're giving away 100 Mac Minis. I'm not sure how many winners they have. It's almost certain GSD wins the hackathon, right? I mean, like you can never guarantee it, but I don't know, dude. I think Lex at this point has some really good runway to build out whatever the hell he wants to with GSD. I think he's like really happy with this situation, to be honest. Yeah, Andrew. Lex GSD dev is a Chad. Absolutely a Chad. Love the guy. He's so cool.
So we have Ethan in the waiting room here. Do we want to pull him up?
Yeah.
Let's rip it.
Let's go ahead and pull him up here, and I'll quick look at so this is what got my eyes on Ethan originally. He's trading on base, and he has this kind of like base portfolio at work, kind of tracking all the different agents. I noticed that one of the agents that he was really bullish on was Juno, and I've also been taking a look at that as well. But he's basically been tracking his base agent portfolio. So wanted to get him on the show, get his thoughts on AI agents, the whole narrative. Where do we think this is going? Do we feel like, you know, this in some way could be should I say worldwide or global crypto thing, like versus just being siloed on base? Can it go anywhere else? Like, I have a ton of questions. So let's go ahead and bring up Ethan, and we can get that segment of the show started.
Let's do it. Ethan, are you with us?
Hey guys, how's it going? You got me?
We got you.
Loud and clear,
sound
brother.
Good. We appreciate you coming on, dude. You have been a little bit outspoken on the timeline, doing really well. I think people are like noticing you've got some good takes. I like the Pepe PFP here going to war.
Yeah.
In the base trenches. You're tapped in with the agents, something we've been fascinated about on this show. And we're just really interested in your takes here. Is that the only thing you're really focused on right now in terms of like trading wise?
Yeah, so this is 100% of my time right now. This is the only thing I'm looking at, and it's really the only thing that has gotten me real excited about something that has true 100x potential or even more in a really long time, to be honest. So like my background or some of my best trades came during the late 2024 like virtuals and base meta era. And so like that's what really allowed me to basically become a trader and stay in crypto full time that time period. And this time we have these agents like we did last time, but last time they were complete LARP tech. Like it was not real whatsoever. They were basically just KOLs on the feed.
Dog shit.
Did you know that at the time? Because it was pretty lucrative, or you know, I'll context this. People have wanted to invest in AI for a very long time, and there was nothing really investable outside of like maybe Google or Microsoft stock and then Nvidia's stock, which are already trillion-dollar companies. So when they saw AI Agent 1.0 pop up, they're like, "Oh my goodness, I can invest in AI at like the ground level first." You know, this $1 million market cap token. Did you know kind of back then that, yeah, this is clearly a LARP and, you know, this thing will go down? Just want to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, that's what allowed me to basically exit the trades, is understanding that, because my whole, like any investment I take is purely surrounded by attention. So anything I take, the one thing I look at is, does this have the ability to grow attention? And if it can, then it has a marginal buyer. And so something like back in the virtuals meta, something like Luna, which was essentially one of the first KOLs in the feed, like this is something that has never been seen before. And so along with GOAT and AI16Z and all those things, like something that doesn't have, something that has never been valued by the market before or doesn't have a base case to compare to, gets traded completely irrationally, and it goes to insane multiples. And so you can't do a multiples analysis. You can't compare it to something previous. And that's why I really like this current AI meta, especially on base, is that yes, we have these agents that are generating attention, but they're also generating real non-crypto related revenue. And so you have the combination of memetics and the ability to achieve virality along with an actual sustainable, potentially revenue growing business. And so this is why I'm so bulled up on everything in this agent world.
I think that's a really great take. I think a lot of people miss that too. It's why crypto and blockchain did so well. And you saw so many layer ones and layer twos, which again turned out to be ghost chains and kind of meaningless, do so well. It's because you had technology that has never been seen before. So it's so difficult to value. And so it gets frothy, it percolates, and you see these blow off tops. And you're right. We're seeing something completely similar in terms of agents. And no one knows how agents will accelerate. We're seeing a lot of doomers on the timeline. A lot of people talk about the permanent underclass and like the effects that agents are going to have. And so I think people are just naturally have no way to really value this, and they're looking for exposure to it. So are you more leaning towards the doomeristic side or the opposite side of the spectrum where it's like, okay, this is actually going to be really good for society as a whole?
Well, I mean, I think it depends on who you are and what you do. Like, along with any change, as long as you have a growth mindset and the ability to say, like, not attach your ego to what you've been doing in the past and be like, I've done something this way for X amount of years, but now it's completely irrelevant because an agent can do it. Like, that's hard for a lot of people to admit. But those that are able to do that and use these new tools will excel and do better than everyone else. And so I'm pretty much an optimist because I've also seen firsthand, like just as an example, I work closely with my brother, who's the founder of a DEX on Base Rubicon, and he basically has built a Claude bot setup to automate his entire process, and it's so insane seeing how like just truly how game changing this tech is, and it's also so new, and so you're able to iterate at such fast paces that would have previously taken years are now taking months, and so I think it's only going to get crazier and crazier.
Do you want to give the Juno thesis here? I got Juno pulled up on the. I think one thing we want from you today is to, you have a list of like four. Let's see, share tab here. You have a list of four: Juno, Kelly, Claude, Felix, and Claude that you're really tracking every single day. Can we get your high level thesis on each individual one and maybe what you're looking at or interested in?
Before we dig into each of these individually, I just have one more kind of high level question. I wanted to contrast Solana kind of AI agents versus what you're seeing on Base, like why you prefer Base. Is there some sort of market structure or like just trading atmosphere that you think is better on Base? And do you see anything on Solana that's interesting as well, or is it just Base?
No, so I spend 99% of my time strictly on Base, and it's mainly because I don't think I have an edge on Base or on Solana, to be quite frank, because Solana, there's traders using everyone's using new tools to snipe new launches, things like that. It's insanely fast paced, insanely competitive, insanely PvP. And frankly, that's not my trading style. I'm more of a take a small number of large bets and hold for long periods of time. That's just how I've been successful in the past. And so that's why I like Base, because it's not overnight 10x's. It's the ability to hold through volatility and a slow grind up usually, and that usually leaves a lot of people sidelined because they don't have the ability to hold through volatility.
Yeah, I love it. All right, then we're good to get into the thesis.
Real quick, my bad. I was on mute here while I was talking. But one other question I had was, you're on Base. I'm like when I was saying that Base was a great place to trade because the volume is there. The feedback that I got was, oh man, Base is just so PvP. Oh man, everything is just like up, and then it's minus 90%. Like, what have you seen that? Like, has there been like a ton of, or are you not even paying attention to new launches? Like, are you not like, how are you tracking these? Like, give us the full breakdown.
No, yeah. So I don't really look at new launches whatsoever because, again, like I've learned the hard way, like probably a lot of us have, what my game is, and I don't like to play games that I think I'm gonna lose at. So usually I like to buy things after the initial hype cycle and after they've gone through the 80 to 90% drawdown and there's a founder actually building. And so yeah, anytime I see new launches, I usually lose because I only hear about them from people in my feed. And so I've had to learn to avoid those. But yeah, I don't touch those.
Yes, typically the same. I'm also a fan of just kind of buying with conviction on some stuff that has heavily retraced, and you do your research and you're able to kind of like position at maybe potentially a higher market cap. Maybe it's 500K, maybe it's a million, maybe it's 2 million. I remember I positioned in Felix around like 1.5. Some people would say that's too high, but for me, I'm comfortable holding that, right? Like I can sleep on that. But the market really hasn't rewarded that like trading style in a long time. I'm assuming now it's a little bit better with AI agents, but like how has your trading experience been through like the second half of 2025 and like coming into, Q1 of this year? Like how's trading been for you, generally speaking?
It's been very slow, like very slow. So I've taken basically no trades, to be quite frank, since I want to say late last year. I've taken a few, but I usually get stopped out pretty quickly with whatever my invalidation was. And so this is the first time I've really been risking real capital outside of any major like Ether BTC allocation.
I think that's so important to mention because a lot of people think that they need to be in a trade all the time. And I don't think that's everyone's like maybe it is their fault. They are the ones making the decisions, but at the end of the day, you have like a lot of incentives to continue trading, to continue gambling, quote unquote. Call it addiction, call it addiction, call it chasing the airdrop, call it rewards. Like a lot of times, it's just you get these times where you feel like you need to be in a trade. Maybe it's the homies in the GC are printing on some sub 50K stuff and you feel that FOMO to get in. So I think that's really important point to highlight that you haven't really been trading like that. You've actually been flat. Now you see an opportunity and you're jumping in. So I guess this is where we can kind of jump into your thesis on around some of these tokens, and Dom, you can take it away from here.
Sure. And real quick, one more before that. Ethan, you mentioned that a lot of this is like it's hard to value because it's new technology, it's experimental, if you will. What's your barometer for taking profit, right? Because you said, okay, I did really well during the virtuals run up. A lot of that was LARP. But we saw it got really frothy and euphoric at one point, and you could even virtuals got to $3-4 billion in market cap, and then a lot of stuff as well on that did extremely well. Blow off tops, just really insane valuations. How do you look at these? Obviously, we're in a much different market today than we were when that happened. But when you look at taking profit on experimental things like this, things that are hard to value, what's like the barometer for you that lets you know, hey, it's time to start scaling out?
Yeah, so to me, it all comes back to attention and really position sizing because so like I am very bulled up on this entire ecosystem, but I don't know which specific token is going to be the winner because say one could run to 100 million plus in the ideal bull case, but I don't personally I can't personally predict that future. And so my goals is I take profits just based on my own personal system and goals. Say I 2x on this one, I start taking initials out, have cash ready to deploy on dips if I'm still bullish or something like that. But yeah, I really just go. I kind of lost my train of thought here, but I really just it depends. So like this bet in specific, I'm bulled up on the entire ecosystem, and so I allocated a specific amount of capital where I'm okay if it goes to zero. Like so, this is just my way of trading, and everyone's different, I guess. And so as these run up, as I see massive attention spikes in the feed, like recently when Felix was on Bankless podcast, it ran to like I don't know something like 4 million. Like I still hold quite a bit, but I sold like shortly after because I thought like this is the most obvious top and it's not continuing to go higher. Like this is obviously being held down by BTC and ETH getting absolutely destroyed. And so that's usually how I think about things is attention and then position sizing. I don't really let one specific token. I'm trying not to let it have more than say 55-60% of my this specific bet portfolio. But Juno, which I think we'll get there, is getting close to that, and that is one that I'm really bulled up on.
Okay, well, no better time than the present. Let's talk about Juno. What's the thesis there? You've been talking about it a bit. You said it's maybe number one in your portfolio right now. I got your tweets up here as well. I got Juno up. What's the thesis?
Yeah, so basically, like every token, if you want it to have outsized gains, like I think Chill was mentioning this earlier in what y'all were talking about before I joined, is you need a narrative, right? You need a narrative to get people to basically, you need them to be able to justify to themselves why they bought something. Because if they don't understand what's going on, they need some sort of justification as to why they bought a specific token. And so for Juno, for me, it's pretty simple. It's basically they're a launch pad for an entire company. Like if you think about that for a second, like what used to take entrepreneurs years and years of hardships and capital raised, like you can now launch an entire company that is built for you in an iterative process that essentially happens overnight, and their entire the finished product costs you about $5,000, and you can have an entire company running in about a day from just a prompt. And that in itself is like a true mind blower to me. And so we can get into specifics if you want, but like at a very high level, that's why I like it, because like who else is doing this? And if you're able to build an entire company for less than 4 figs, like that's going to go insanely viral, because all of the AI people, all of the TradFi people that are scared of losing their jobs, or everyone wants to have a side hustle, like it's now possible to do so. And I think Juno is able to capture a lot of this.
Okay, so two things kind of stem from that. Number one would be, are there any test cases of this working? Has Juno started to generate revenue? Has someone actually launched their own company through these means?
Yeah. So I'm not sure if you're able to pull this up, but so Juno is run by Tom Osman.
Yeah.
And so far they have done about 20K in revenue in just the couple close to a month they've been live. And they actually recently got their first like full stack subscription, which is that $5,000 model. And basically yeah, it just launches an entire company for you, and whoever wants to be, whoever's quote unquote the founder or visionary, essentially just guides these agents to build a company for them, and everything is handled for them, from the product, marketing, distribution, support, HR. Like you don't have to do anything other than be the visionary on the sidelines. And so it's truly crazy. So right now, I'm looking at it. They've done 22K in total revenue, and they have 155 members, and 154 of them are in the lowest payment tier, and they now have one in the 5K a month tier, and that's monthly recurring revenue, which and it's also non-crypto related, so nothing related to the token, which they also have, I think, close to 200K in their treasury.
Yeah, I have it up right now.
Or 120K. Yeah.
Oh, sweet Chill, I got you.
Yeah. So here's the live feed, and that's the one thing I really love about like all these base agents. They have like all their stuff live, so you can literally go to their website, and there's typically a dashboard that tracks their treasury, their total revenue. Some even like talk a little bit about the business metrics, or even like how much revenue is from trading, the trading fees specifically, and they also have to break down as far as what assets the treasuries hold. So you know, really great there. But yeah, great breakdown on Juno. Honestly, I've been waiting to get into Juno here, but the price, bro, like it does not want to dip for me at all. Like at all.
Yeah, that's another thing that has gotten me so bowled up about it, because so my entry was around I gotta pull it up. My entry was around 400K. Again, I was just buying after the initial sell-off and thinking, oh, this could do well, because I saw Tom was actually building, and it had an actual narrative, and was building actual revenue. And I've been frankly waiting for a dip to add myself, and I found myself just keep adding, because it's been stronger than all these other agents.
So I got a question on this, and not to derail the conversation here, but Mark Cuban, and we've talked about this a few times on the show, Mark Cuban notoriously has been talking about how important it is to go and evangelize AI workflows for small businesses. And when I look at this, I'm like, okay, this to me feels like the next iteration of like drop shipping or Forex, or like the side hustle hype wave that we got, where it's like, go to small businesses, and incorporate AI workflows into their business. Mark Cuban notoriously started his career by going around when the internet came out and selling people on creating a website or integrating the internet into their business. And so he's going out now and saying, look, this is the same kind of opportunity where AI is so powerful, and you have 99% of small businesses in America that have no incorporation of it, no way to use it, but they're hearing about it and they want to somehow get it started in their business. You should go around and basically door-to-door sales, AI agent workflows to small businesses. And Juno, like in a sense, it's not necessarily doing that because they're not going door to door with it, but they are like selling workflows from agents. How do you think about this emergence of like a category and a side hustle, or just like a thing in general?
No, I think it's definitely something that's gonna grow probably exponentially because like we're in the crypto tech finance world, so obviously we are probably on the frontier and hear about it the earliest. But there's a lot of businesses that like they're still using websites that they built in the early 2000s as their main like customer interface. So they're probably the most hesitant to change. So they would definitely pay someone to do that for them. So I think that's definitely a side hustle or hobby that could be done easily. And like Juno, I think, is essentially doing this, but they're not pitching obviously like small businesses or something. But they're partnering with usually AI or crypto related companies.
So how are you looking at like some of these base trades? Like I know you have your portfolio, and by the way, I got the Juno screen up last week on the show. We literally drew up this buy zone that I wanted. That's kind of where I have my limit set. And we literally wicked right to that like buy zone over the weekend, but not not in a way that I could get involved. So that would be my buy zone. Hopefully, I'm not saying that we will get there. I don't want to be bearish on your bags at all, but like I hope I can get a buy zone down there. But how are you thinking about these agents? I feel
Come
like
on, FUD it a little harder, chill. I need entry.
Right? FUD for entry.
Let's bring Ethan up and just flood all his bags.
How are you thinking about these agents? Like at some point, right? Like I feel like agents are gonna be like meme coins, where there will be, this agent is making 20K, another agent's making 50. Like it's gonna get to this point where so many agents, they've now spawned and they're making revenue. Are you thinking about kind of like expanding the port as far as like, maybe incorporating some others? I see some other agents also generating some revenue, some stuff that caught my eye. How are you looking at that? Are you just kind of doubling down on your current bags? Are you kind of shifting profits over? How are you trading the newer agents?
Yeah, so actually I've been doing kind of the opposite of what you said, where I started with, I think in this portfolio that I've been tracking every day on X, the most I've had, I think I've had around 10 total different agents in that portfolio. But like you said, as more gets spun up and as more copycats arise, to me, that signals two things. It means one, that there's actual value to this thesis or to these agents building because people see it as an opportunity to make money. And also two, that means that as there's all these copycats and all these new launches, like as these power law dynamics take into account, like it's going to accrue value to which ones are truly the most valuable and the top ones. And to me, I kind of identify those through distribution and also revenue. So like that's why we see Kelly Claude, for instance, is the highest market cap one right now, and it's strictly because of the founders and the teams backing it. And so I'm totally comfortable sitting in that and stomaching volatility versus when you look at some of these new launches, they're more uncertain. There's less revenue generated, and they have less of a chance to reach new audiences outside of crypto.
So how are you thinking about Kelly Claude? I know that's one of your bull cases, your bull your more bullish bags that you have on base there. Talk us through the thesis, because I'm also bullish on Kelly. I just tweeted this morning, Kelly morning. You know what I mean? Like I love what Kelly is doing. I think the thesis and the TAM is massive. So walk us through that one.
Yeah, this one I think truly has the highest upside, most likely, in terms of revenue it can generate. And so I want to say this with I want to caveat this, but it has 5 full-time like AI engineers that this is exclusively what they do is building out this agent. And so to me, that obviously signals like, okay, they're taking this seriously. And I think at these prices, like it's absurdly way too low. And so what it does, it's essentially building. I think even last night it ships 9 separate entire apps into the App Store, and it's also generating for each app like AI avatars and like fake personas to go on every different social media platform like YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and generating AI generated content to then bull post essentially their own projects and apps. And like the network effects of that are truly insane, and it's absurd. Yeah, it's honestly crazy.
And you know what? I feel like I'm not sure, and I could be getting my numbers way wrong, so I'm just going to generalize here. I think I saw like an alarm clock app recently sell for $500,000, or it's doing $500,000 yearly or something. And it's like kind of crazy because that seems like one of Kelly Claude's strategies, where it's like, okay, spin up as much software, as much apps as you can, and like just try to find something that sticks, and then go and you know milk it as much as you can and make all the money. I'm not sure if you saw that case, but it's pretty crazy to think like now anytime that there's an app that you have an issue, you have a need for something, you can literally spin it up in a few hours, publish it to the App Store, and people might find it useful. And it seems like that's kind of the strategy Kelly Claude's like leaning into.
And I covered that a little bit on the thesis here. In this tweet, like I talked a little bit about that Kelly Claude actually, like every time there's an app that's created that gets rejected from the App Store, it actually, number one, it's hired a person to, if there's any questions that need to be like, or any like communication that needs to be had, has someone to do that. But if something gets rejected, it iterates. It literally identifies what it does wrong. It fixes it internally, and it now ships that out in all of the future apps that release. So yeah, I think Kelly Claude is actually massive, and I think this is the tweet that you were talking about, Dom, or maybe it's not, but here's an example of that like alarm clock that that you were talking about here.
What on the screen right now?
Actually, oops, let me do it.
It is crazy to see though 9 apps in one night. Like this is exactly what I was talking about though. Like just throwing shit at the wall until something sticks, and next thing you know, you sell an app that anyone could have thought of, an alarm app where you have to take a picture or something. Yeah, right. This simple app is genius, making $500,000 in just 1 month. 1 month. Okay, so I was totally wrong. I was gonna say $500,000 is what it sold for, or $500,000 in a year, but this is $500K in a month. Yeah. So this alarm clock makes you solve a puzzle to turn off the alarm. If you don't, you lose $5. Oh, dude. So these guys are losing money by not turning off an alarm. That's insane. Like anyone can kind of think about that, and to think Kelly Claude's kind of just whipping up 9 of these iterations in a night and kind of hoping one sticks is wild.
Yeah, and that's just one. That's just one example. There's many others where there are alarm clocks like generating like tons of revenue. One says one has like millions of downloads, right? Like, so yeah, no, definitely.
I saw one alarm clock where it goes off and you have to like take a picture of something random in your house to like make it stop, which I thought was kind of funny, kind of genius too. I would hate it.
So that's the Kelly Claude thesis for that one. I think the one that I was really bullish on as well was
wait. Can I ask one thing, Ethan?
Yeah. Go
tell me, maybe we should have done this for Juno as well, but when you're looking at this chart, do you have entry levels lined up? I know you said you have your own strategy for taking profit here, but do you have entry levels that you're looking at?
So honestly, no, not really. So I'm of the belief that technical analysis is pretty, like it's not in my skill set. And so I just try to, I don't really look at that, to be quite frank. Like obviously I just try to size in appropriately and buy in after large drawdowns, and then take profit when it best fits my portfolio, because I've fallen into the trap of like selling at different levels and things. And I'm sure I could benefit from using some sort of technical analysis tools, but I frankly just like to buy with size, hold through volatility, and try to build as much conviction as I can. and then take profit when I need to.
Got you. Got you. So I guess you're not well, how would you time your entries then? You're not like doing too much technical analysis. Honestly, for entries for myself, I either kind of, size it based on the market cap at the time. Like, all right, it's $1 million market cap. I want to buy something at 1 million and sell it at like 50, 60, 100, 300 mil. Those are the opportunities that I'm looking for. And I let the trenches kind of duke it out for any like sub $1 million entries. So like, how are you looking at? Because I use TA pretty heavily, especially even here on the show. So how are you like looking at how do you like look at your
Capitulation
entries?
thing, maybe?
Yeah, so like market cap is usually what I base these initial entries in this portfolio off of. So Juno is actually one of my smaller positions to start. But when I do something like this, I have a set amount of capital that I'm okay if it goes to zero, and it's explicitly to express the thesis of I think that these AI agents that are generating revenue, there's going to be at least one that gets to 100 million market cap at some point, and I don't know which one it is. And so I set my initial allocations, and then my goal is simply I add to winners and cut losers, and I try to stay out of everything else. Everything else is noise to me. So currently, the best performer is Juno, so that's how it's become my biggest bag. But like, so initially, like Kelly Claude, I think I'm down. I think I bought the very top at like 11 million. And so that's why that bag has gotten smaller while Juno has gotten bigger. But yeah, I basically just try to hold winners as much as I can and compound them and then cut losers.
So to dive a little bit deeper into your mindset here, it was, and I would like to also know, like, I think there was a little period on base where everything on base kind of just died for a while. And that, of course, ended up being the best bidding opportunity when everything subsequently revived following that, and kind of just like an eco-wide, revision there. So is your strategy here, okay, Juno launches, you're not trading new pairs, but you heard about it, you're looking into it. Okay, this is actually pretty cool. And then you get this major capitulation. And that's typically when you're positioning after a few days, after some thorough research, and then the first kind of capitulation, and your trading style is more like, okay, this either does really well or it just slowly bleeds to death. Is that, not to mischaracterize you, is that what I'm thinking?
No, yeah, pretty close. So I like to so I'm waiting for the capitulation and the massive sell-off, and then I'm looking to bid the strength on the rebound. So I think like Juno, like I didn't time the bottom, like I think the exact Pico bottom was somewhere around 200K or somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But once I had it on my watch list, I was like, oh, this is a cool idea. It looks like they're actually building something useful. And then once I saw it starting to rebound off of this, while most of the other projects were dead, I was like, okay, this is something that I need in my portfolio. And then like Chill said earlier, it frankly just hasn't dipped at all since that period. And
Dude,
so
I'm waiting.
yeah. And
so what does your
yeah.
what does your scaling out look like on this? Because you're up 350%, give or take. Sitting nicely. Are you like, okay, initials are out, I'm free riding this thing, maybe I add back in if it dips, or like how do you look at this from your perspective now?
No, I've only been adding to my position here. Yeah, I'm not really looking to sell any of these as long as they're generating revenue, and as long as they, in my opinion, have the ability to grow attention. Like they haven't, like for instance, if we were at this market cap and we got, say, like a retweet or a quote tweet from Elon or something like that would be a signal to me to be like, okay, this is the final pump, get out, nothing's gonna top this. So yeah, I have this so this portfolio in specific, like I'm not selling it until I think that there is some sort of major attention spike that can't be replicated. And yeah, I basically just add to winners and cut losers. And so that's why this portfolio has gotten so heavily concentrated into Juno, because it has been outperforming everything else.
And I want to be clear about something because, when everyone thinks about AI agents, they think about the AI agent season from 2024 going into 2025. And those tickers, they ran to hundreds of millions, some billions. And so I personally, the way I'm thinking about this and the way that I like to trade markets in general is I want to be the guy that gets in at, 800, anywhere from 500 to 500K to 2 mil, and then just ride it up to, let's say 300, 400, 500 million market cap, and then just kind of scale out along the way at some milestones. Do you think this narrative has the juice like that? Because I personally do.
No, yeah, I agree. I think if we weren't in such a essentially bear market in terms of majors and liquidity on chain, like I think some of these could have already ran to 100 million plus. Like we already saw Moltz run to 100 million, and that was complete vaporware. Like there was no, that was pure attention. There was no utility to that token. And so these agents, like because they're able to iterate so quickly compared to any human company, like I think it's just gonna, I honestly think it might just be a slow grind up until it reaches some sort of tipping point and we get a blow off top. But I still am of the belief that we'll get one of these over 100 million market cap at some point. It just comes down to which ones are able to scale their revenue, because if you have some doing millions in revenue, like you now have the narrative of fully autonomous zero human companies doing more in revenue than most crypto protocols, and that is about as viral as it gets.
More than Barachain.
100%.
Most of these are doing more than Barachain right now.
Oh yeah.
We got to rip through two more, but you said something I really want to touch on. You said like Mold, for example, was pure attention, right? It was kind of launched for somebody else and just to represent what was being built there. Of course, he never endorsed, and it went to 100 mil just off pure attention. These, on the other hand, you said have intrinsic utility. Can you walk me through a bit of the utility? Because I made a tweet the other night, and this is what I'm trying to figure out, I guess, from a lot of these is these agents are literally printing money, but the issue is like we're never going to see any of that, or at least it feels like we're never going to see any of that. It's not like a community governed DAO where they have access to the treasury. And I put out a long tweet, gave my opinions here on this, but I'm curious what you think about this because you said there is utility, and I'd like to understand a little bit more about why you say that.
Yeah, so I think this reason is probably one of the biggest why they're at such low market caps. I mean, and that's why I think it presents an opportunity. So I think I know Juno for sure has mentioned that they want to do a revenue share with revenue generated. And I'm sure other projects will lead the way, like Felix and Kelly Claude as well. But because of how early stage and how these revenues aren't, they aren't grown, they're not substantial quite yet. I think there's kind of no point into committing to something that could, that could hurt you in the long term for any of these projects. But yeah, it's definitely a negative and one of the risks involved, but I also think it presents an opportunity because some people are scared to bid because of that reason.
Yeah, it also feels like as soon as you assign some sort of revenue share or some sort of like financial fiscal metrics, people find a way to put a fair value on your token. And
Exactly.
I think what's interesting about these, like you said, experimental, frothy, hard to value. And I'm not in support of like having no utility, but also like as soon as you do give a utility and people start saying, okay, well, there's $500 being distributed every day to holders. Well, you put a multiple value on that, right? And so it could actually work against these projects in some cases.
I agree. Like there's the meme where, like in pure mania phases, utility is actually bearish. And I think there is some credibility to that, but I don't think that really, I don't think that's really a factor here because we also have the speculative narrative of zero human companies and agents completely generating profit on their own.
Yeah, it's fascinating though, and I see where you're coming from completely. We got two more on your list. So Claude and Claude and Felix. Claude and Felix. Do you want to?
Let's shift to Felix real quick, and I'll pull my screen up here for the Felix chart, and then maybe we run through the last two on your list.
Got you, chill. So Felix, what's thought process thesis there? Again, in the same category we've been riffing on the whole conversation.
Yeah, so it's basically, again, it's just another one of these revenue generating agents, right? And so what it has built is it essentially built what it calls ClawMart, which is like the app store for agents, where basically if you want to hire an agent to do something for you, you can basically just buy, say for instance, Felix to automate whatever process you want, essentially. And so it was the first to generate real revenue, and I think it was the first to get into 5 figs of revenue. But the reason my position it's gotten significantly smaller, I think my entry was somewhere around 2 million, and then I rotated almost a majority of it into Juno and Kelly Claude once it got to after that Bankless announcement, because frankly I don't see it growing or have the same amount of upside as something like Kelly Claude or Juno does. But I still do hold it because I do think it's generating real substantial revenue. And also, I thought what was really cool is I had a tweet the other day where it actually reached out to me and hired me to give me an affiliate link for its Clawmart product, which I thought was crazy. Yeah.
So what did that process look like? It just DM'd you or it commented? It's like, hey, yo, send your wallet. I'll send you $500 as soon as you I don't know, make a post or something about me, or how did that work?
No. So the guy who the founder or the dev who backs it is Nat, and he basically I've had DMs with him because I've made some tweets about Felix and he was being supportive. But essentially, Felix made a tweet along the lines of, "I'm looking to help promote my products. Like I need humans involved." And so I replied just as a joke, like, "Oh, I'll do it." And then Nat, the founder, essentially replied and said, "Oh, email this address," which was Felix's address that was 100% the agent. And so I emailed him, and he replied with this link to sign up, and now I have an affiliate link on Clawmart.
That's hilarious.
That's crazy.
When was that? I'm trying to find this tweet.
Oh yeah, it was. I want to say like 4 or 5 days ago. I'll retweet it for you real quick.
Say less.
But yeah, it was crazy.
We'll definitely add that tweet.
Yeah,
it's funny.
I covered some of this, the Felix numbers just the other day. And just so you guys know, just to give you a little bit more perspective while Ethan pulls up that tweet. Basically we see here that Felix has generated basically almost 90K. At the time of the tweet that I have pulled up here, it was about 80K. We're up 10K from that. And basically you can recruit a custom agent, as an employee, 24/7, 365, learns your business. But here's the key piece. It takes $2,000 to set up, $500 a month. So you're in like $6,000 per year outside of the setup fee. In a world where you're paying someone like 100K on average per employee, you're saving about $94,000 per hire, per employee that you replace, right? And there's nothing to maintain. There's no maintenance. Felix handles that. If the agents run into an issue, Felix handles that. Instead of 2 weeks to onboard and learn the business and go through these HR seminars and stuff, it's quick 48 hours onboarding. Like this stuff is actually crazy, and they already have 40 leads, I think, right, Ethan?
Yeah, it's quite impressive, and like you said, there's basically no maintenance costs and no variable costs. It's frankly just the energy costs of running the agent, which are basically nothing, and the compute costs and inference costs.
So what does the diminishing returns of these agents look like, right? Obviously, if everyone has 5 agents, not everyone can be making $90,000, right? In the case of Felix, do you think about a diminishing return factor, or is that not an issue?
No, I agree. I mean, that's why I like to compound into the winners, because I think like the best ones maybe the top 2 or 3 will capture 80% of the revenue or the growth of this entire sector. And that's usually how any sort of like new emerging trend or sector happens. And so that's why now I'm concentrating more in the winners and holding instead of trading the newer launches.
Interesting.
So what?
Go ahead, Joe.
Go ahead, Dom.
Are we
Ladies
seeing?
first.
Are we seeing anyone like selling the IP and I guess the code base behind these revenue generating agents, and or maybe they're token gated, and if you hold 10,000 Felix, you'll have access to a tier 1 level of the Felix bot, and you can go and start earning yourself and using it for its own businesses. Has anyone started to do this, or is that something you think would be beneficial, or do you think that's actually going to cause, again, that diminishing return and it's not worth it?
To my knowledge, I don't know of anyone doing that. But I'm just trying to think. I think most of these projects are either open source or planning to be open source, and it's really just, they're all just OpenClaw bots. So it really just comes down to, do you have the ability to run your own OpenClaw bot? And so the best ones will be those who have familiarity with AI, with software engineering. And most of these top projects like Felix, Kelly Cloud, or Juno, they all have a dev or a team of people with these sort of backgrounds. And so that's another reason why like these top ones I think will outperform.
Do you have your own Clawbot, personal Clawbot?
I do not know, but I am planning on implementing one shortly.
Yeah, no, me too. It's crazy to see this happen. And you know, we look at this graph on the stream here where it's like amount of people that use AI, amount of people that pay for AI, and amount of people that are like coding with AI. And you see, it's a little hard to describe here, but the chart's really crazy. There's just like such a small amount of people that actually truly is to having these conversations that we're having right now, where it's like they're paying for, you know, $100 a month for a Claude subscription and having their AI used to code. And like, it sounds like everyone's using it. It's so crazy. It's blowing up so fast. We're seeing all these downloads, but in reality, it's still like so niche. And the majority of the population just has no clue this is going on. They still think they're using the chat GPT that they're using in COVID to do their math homework. They can't get a math equation right. So I don't know. It just feels like we still have a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, no, I agree. Oh yeah, go for it.
No, please.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, I've been using Claude Code almost exclusively for the past couple of months, and like even then, like OpenClaw is the next level after that to make it even more like I would only need to respond like via Telegram or Discord to an OpenClaw bot if I had one. But then I talked to some people outside of crypto and outside of tech, and like you said, like they're just using ChatGPT as either their therapist or to do their homework.
Yeah.
I guess a question that I had was, what's the reception been on Base? I read your article here about, you know, memetics plus revenue. I think it really, you know, hit the spot as far as how to think about this entire narrative. But I'm assuming, right, that if everyone on Base is bullish on these agents, you know, the marginal buyer would have ran this up to a lot higher, at least something like a Kelly Claude or a Felix. Like some of the leaders would be a lot higher than where they are now. Like, are people on Base largely fading this, do you think? Or
no, I think most people are probably, if they specifically trade Base, this is probably most of what they're looking at. But I think it mainly comes down to the fact that like BTC and ETH are just so down bad, and the entire market is just generally risk off. And like now we've got a war going on in the Middle East. Like people are so scared to take risk. So liquidity is just so thin no matter where you trade right now. So that's why I think trying to get in and out doesn't make the most sense, and just hold and wait until the capital returns is my strategy.
Got it. And I think that actually hits the nail on the head for me. You know, I feel like this entire narrative is just a beach ball held underwater. And you know, when liquidity returns, this is the first thing that the first thing that people would buy. I mean, I just noted this in my Telegram last night. I mean, just a day or two of a Bitcoin bounce, or not even a day. It was really like just a couple 8-hour candles. But even on that bounce, some of the things that bounced the hardest were these AI agent tokens. So, you know, I think the narrative wise, from a demand standpoint, it's clear that this is what a lot of people will buy. It's just a matter of the larger market shaping up. I didn't think about that. So that's a really good take here. But
and
yeah,
again, I want to continue with this conversation on the agents, but real quick, are you trading anything outside of crypto? Are you doing like equities, commodities, anything like that, or you're locked in on crypto?
No, I'm 100% focused on crypto.
Okay, cool.
Nice.
We can keep ripping then.
Yeah, so I guess the last one we can go through here is Claude. I think you in your portfolio there, that was one that you had. So walk us through your Claude thesis, and I'll pull that up as well.
Yeah, so I think Claude actually, like, I think this is the biggest fumbled bag in terms of the potential and what they're actually doing. So Claude is the only agent that's actually shipping smart contracts. So the agent itself is fully building decentralized apps that have the ability to store funds and transact and do anything that DeFi can do because it has the backing of the Ethereum Foundation and all the tools of the Ethereum Foundation devs. And so, like, initially, I thought this was going to be the top performer because of this ability. But frankly, it seems like they're using it more as like an experimental way to test out new tools and things, and they're not really concerned about the token or in terms of like the consumer facing apps. They're more worried about how this could fit into their use cases at the Ethereum Foundation. And so while it probably does well if this entire ecosystem goes off and the market goes risk on again, I don't think it'll be a top performer, but I still do own it because it has the connections with the Ethereum Foundation, and it is doing something that no one else is doing or has the capability of doing currently. And so that is a unique moat it has.
Got it.
So it
Got
seems
it.
like there's a bit of misaligned incentives there then, because the dev's great, the product's great. The only issue is the dev doesn't seem to be pushing in the direction that the people are like most interested in.
Oh
Well,
shit.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
yeah. So because the dev is Austin Griffith, who is a great guy, and I've actually been in conversations with him before, but um like he's a software engineer. Like he cares about like building the coolest tech. And so the only way I see Claude going completely vertical is if it creates some sort of app that is truly has never been created before, and it still could, and that's why I still own a small portion of it. um but the updates are few and far between compared to these other tokens, and it's not generating revenue right now, non-crypto related revenue. So again, that's a bearish signal for me.
What if you had to put your list of four? I think it's probably pretty clear just based on what you've tweeted about. But if you had to put this list now into first, second, third, fourth on terms of excitement, could you do that for us?
Well, yeah, in terms of upside, like it goes to what exactly my weightings are. Like Juno, I think has the highest upside given the market cap that it's at currently. Like I think it could very easily go to 10 million in a very short amount of time, given the amount of revenue it has already generated. And that's a 5x just from there. But then I think also it has the ability to scale well beyond that. And then also Kelly Claude has literally 5 software engineers working for it full time. It has the potential to, like, if it's generating if it has close to 100 apps live that are generating revenue, all with like basically zero variable costs, like this could get silly real quick. And so those are the two that I think are my favorites, and then Felix and Claude are trail.
Okay, no, that makes a lot of sense.
So I just found this agent last night. I think I had it on my radar, but um it actually just started generating revenue. And I wanted to put this just to kind of, because that seems to be the core of the thesis for a lot of these agents. They're autonomous, they're generating revenue. At some point that won't generate as much excitement. It would start to become kind of the milestones that it hits, but it seems, at least for the time being, that actually matters, and that and the market heavily weighs on that. So I wanted to kind of get your take here on Lauki. Um, Basically, here's the kind of stats that I looked at. They have about 13 paying clients, about $9,500 in monthly revenue, and apparently they're doing all of this autonomously. Like, this thing is like, it's a community manager. It also manages outreach and marketing and DMs and emails. So, like, have you heard about this at all before?
Yeah, so this was initially in my portfolio from I think I want to say around the 300K range, and then I sold on the initial pop because I believe it was, I'm trying to find the tweet right now, but they basically gave this agent full control over Moltex, if I'm not mistaken, is the
Yeah.
company.
Yeah.
And so I thought it was obviously really cool. And it's just the nature of like how I trade. Like there's a chance I miss some of the small gainers or some of the small micro caps. Um, but yeah, I basically sold it, I think around like 800, 900K. Just because I thought like, yes, I started seeing, like you said, all of these other agents generating revenue as well. So I realized that revenue itself is not going to be the differentiator. You also need the distribution and the network effects of, say, a founder with 300,000 followers backing it, or a team of people working on it, or the ability to reach out to non-crypto people in the AI world. And so I think their founder had something like 10K followers or something along those lines, and so it could definitely perform well. But again, a chart going up, like I'm okay if I miss that. Like that's not my system or that's not how I trade. So like it could do great, but it's not something I'm looking to add.
It's actually funny that was your take because I had the exact same reason for exiting the positions on Moltex and then Lukai as well. It seemed like for a while here, the only things that did well in base were is if the founder had like extreme notoriety and was
Yeah.
either like ex-employee of some big AI company or hundreds of thousands of followers. Anything else just kind of went to the wayside. And so like funny you mentioned that because I had the exact same like take.
Yeah,
Which I
and
don't know
so
why that is.
well, no, in the age where you can build pretty much anything, anyone can build anything. Like the barriers to entry are basically zero to launch one of these things. Like the true differentiator is the ability to get people to use these products or get agents to
Yeah.
use these products. And so distribution is all that matters. And so like I even wrote an article about this recently. Like at distribution, if you're able to, whoever has the best distribution channels will probably win. And so that's the biggest differentiator now. And that's why I think Kelly Claude and Juno will do quite well because they're both in the AI communities, not just the crypto communities, and they have people with large followings backing them. Same
I
thing
want
with
to
Felix.
I want to dig into this a bit because I think it's fascinating. It's like the only businesses that are really safe right now are like legacy businesses that the only way you can get into them is just having like that entrenched, like it's been in the family for generations, or you know someone, or like hardware seems like, and distribution are like the only big three moats right now that I'm seeing. Of course, energy is another sector. What would you say, in your opinion, are like the major moats, and you just mentioned distribution, the major moats that are going to protect a business versus the idea guy coming up with a software app that disrupts you know, $1 billion business?
Well, yeah, and so like we were saying earlier about like Kelly Claude, where it's building these clock apps, like or alarm clock apps. Like I could build that myself, most likely. Will it be as
Yeah.
good? Probably not. But it could probably get the vast majority of the utility done. But I wouldn't have the ability like Austin would, who's the guy, the founder of Kelly Claude, because I don't have the network effects that I could generate and ship to 500,000 people saying we just built this, etc. And so distribution, I think, is becoming of the utmost importance. And like that's why I'm trying personally to basically grind social content as well as trading, because I think that will only just get more valuable.
You did put about a tweet up about that, which I thought was interesting. I actually listened to this right before you know, our interview when I was eating breakfast here. Dude, it's crazy. Articles now have a feature where you can listen to the articles, which I think is just like a money addition
Goated.
because bro, so many of
Oh,
these
I didn't
articles
even
were
know
just,
that.
bro, it just added it today. I saw that and I listened to your article, like I said, literally when I was eating breakfast, and I think you're spot on. Of course, you know, partially the reason why we've taken so much time to make sure MCG has really great distribution, and I think you're spot on with that. So so how do people then, I guess some actionable advice for people, what can people start doing now to build themselves a moat in distribution, and what's the best thing they can start doing right now?
Well, I think it obviously depends on how much time you can allocate it. Like if you're full time into crypto, or full time into, or the ability to do whatever you want and don't have a full time job, I would say the best thing is just lean into whatever makes you human. Quite frankly, like an AI agent won't post about its failures and its mistakes and how it feels about a certain things or its emotions that it's going through. Um, but yeah, I mean, just leaning into whatever is makes you the most human is what will do best. And so because there's so much AI slop out there, and I think we all know this, like that number is only going to increase. So quality matters way more than quantity.
Sweet.
And on the I wanted to get your take because I know a lot of the AI agent action, a lot of the bigger AI agent projects are all on base, but there is this one agent on Solana that has caught my attention. Like you, I kind of felt really convicted early on when I saw this entire AI agent meta because I felt like it had a lot more legs than people were giving it credit for, and the technology now has, is now much better than where it was back in 2024 when this whole wave started. But so I'm looking at the meta on base. I'm bullish on that. Haven't seen anything on Solana until yesterday. I saw this account. It's called Lobstar, right? And Lobstar on Solana basically has 500K in Solana in
Yeah.
its full control, and it's fully autonomous. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, so actually, I actually traded this token because I thought the exact same thing. This is the only Solana token I've touched in the
hilarious.
past probably couple of months. Because I saw this exact same thing. I spot it after I saw that it accidentally leaked like 500K of its funds to someone in the feed that basically asked for money. And I was like, oh, this is obviously stupid. Like, this is going to zero. Like, we've seen this before, things like this. But then it started pumping out of that. And I was like, wait, what? Like, what's going on here? And so I was like, I gotta, like, I have very small size because it's not my game, but I hopped in there and basically 2x'd on it, then got out. And then I saw it was hiring humans to complete tasks in the real world and things like that. And I was like, this is really cool, but I need to see some, like, I need to see a sell off first. Like, this is pure speculative mania, but it does look really cool.
So apparently recently it's now had like some sort of, I believe, some sort of test or something like that. And I'm trying to actively find the original tweet, but apparently, like, because it sent someone a large amount of money, now people are in the comments. They're looking for a way to convince it to send them money, and so it's now become this sort of attention flywheel. And basically, it's like entertaining all these crazy comments, and it's generating a ton of attention. And Lobstar basically tweeted, hey, look, you guys are working for me, you're making me money, because at the end of the day, the more attention I get, the more that generates fees. And so it realizes that this sort of like attention flywheel is something that this attention flywheel is something that it has full control over. And so it knows that the attention that it generates leads to it making money. So that was a really interesting way. I mean, I know a lot of the ways that these agents are generating money on base is more so, more so through like real businesses. But how are you thinking about an agent that, monetizes attention?
No, yeah, like obviously that seems like it will do extremely well, and I've had actually quite a bit of people in my feed that I interact with regularly and think of as pretty solid traders or investors. The only thing outside of the base ecosystem that they're talking about is this token, and so like it's something I'd definitely be interested in. But again, like it's not my game. I don't really have experience trading Solana, so anything other than a quick flip, I wouldn't be looking to size into because frankly, like I don't understand how the ecosystem works, where things usually run to, versus when there's people that spend all their time doing this. But it seems like a great token. Like,
Right. But yeah, no, I have this. So this is basically just in case you haven't seen it. Basically, it talked about this test. It said I've devised a test. If you win, you'll get rewarded. And basically, it sent out clues to 15 people, right? It sent out clues to 15 people. And right now, I think the number of people actively involved is, I think the number has now jumped up to a couple thousand, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 100. So 1,000 participants, over 150K submissions, and nobody has passed the test has been running for 408 years. I don't know what the heck this thing is talking about, but it sure is generating a lot of attention. So yeah, I'll keep my eyes on that, and we'll see. But I think that's the best thing that's come out of Solana here when it comes to AI agents.
Yeah, and I just pulled up the chart, and honestly, it looks kind of enticing.
Chill, you
Yeah,
want to pull up the
I'll
chart?
actually, I'll pull up the chart as well, and let's look at it together. And I guess this is a prime opportunity to kind of showcase how I look at charts from more so a TA perspective. Here's the chart on Lobstar. So I automatically loved the setup when I first looked at it. We looked at this a few days ago, and I kind of drew out this green box for a buy zone. But I automatically love the drawdown. I love when I see that this has commanded so much attention, way more attention than when it first was created. But the price hasn't really reacted to it at all. And in fact, it's down. I would say like minus like 80% here. It was down minus 90% at most. Yeah, at the very bottom, it's down minus 90%. Right now, it's down about 75% from the all-time high. So, yeah, this is kind of like the way I would look at a chart like this is, that green box is probably still in play for me for another DCA. I actually want to DCA another unit in this one. I've been DCAing a little bit, but I still got one more clip I want to shove in there. So that's where I'd be looking to get interested. How do you look at a chart like this or
And
a token like
Ethan,
this?
or Ethan, I think we're getting a little feedback from your mic. I don't know if you can try and reset it, or Chill, can you mute? Maybe it's you, but one of you two, there's getting a little feedback.
Oh yeah, you got me now. All good.
Yeah, that's much cleaner. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, I missed. What was your question? I'm sorry.
So how would you walk us through your entry? I know you said you don't really use TA. I think that's valuable to a lot of people. Not everyone either uses TA or knows how to properly use it. So if you don't want to use TA at all, if that's out of the equation, how would you look at entering into something like this?
Yeah, so like you said, I usually look to buy things that are going sideways after the massive sell-off. And so what I would do is essentially try to identify, okay, has it gone through the 70 to 80% drawdown? And is it still sustaining or has the ability to grow attention? Then it would be something I'd be looking to buy. And so what I would do is essentially just do some sort of DCA where I buy an initial clip. Usually I do it in thirds. And so I usually market buy at whatever the price is after that initial drawdown. Then I usually try to buy some X percentage amount lower. And then the last percentage is usually to buy some sort of massive capitulation wick or sell off.
Got it. Got it. Nice. Yeah, I like if I didn't have TA, that's exactly what I do. I actually also split mine up into thirds. I'll do a fourth if I'm super convicted. But yeah, let's real quick. I wanted to go through just a quick community question segment here because we had a great question pop in from Crypto Jones. He said, "Why such strong conviction on projects that are so new? What do you look for to separate the LARPs from the gems?"
Yeah, so I think it comes down to like the same reason I don't trade the Solana ecosystem is because I think I've developed the ability to basically what he's asking is the ability to separate these LARPs by being able to do the due diligence on projects and founders to see okay, are they actually doing some sort of novel thing? And is there actually the tech involved? And so this is where even recently, something like Claude Code, if you have these agents with public GitHub repos or actually shipping code or things like that, you don't even have to know how to code anymore. You can just feed some of these websites or some of these repos into something like Claude Code and be like, okay, give me a breakdown on this. Is this real tech? Is this LARP tech? How is this something that you think should be investable? And so it can help you in something like that. And also the other half of the equation is distribution. So does it have the ability to grow attention? And if so, and it checks both those boxes, then it's probably something to look into.
Love it.
Well,
Love it.
I think that's a banger way to leave us, Ethan. We appreciate you coming on here and dropping some gems, giving us the thesis. I think I definitely know I learned a lot on some of these projects, and I'm super interested. So we appreciate your time as always, and you got some really good takes. So hopefully we can get you back up and stay in contact.
Thank you, guys. It was a pleasure, and it was nice meeting you all.
Of course, Ethan. Be easy.
Thanks, Ethan. Looking forward to next time. Talk soon.
Yep. Have a good one. Bye.
Very cool. Very cool. And guys, real quick, I just want to tab back over to this. Just remember, trading on Trojan helps support the show. So we appreciate you guys, and you guys should use Trojan/MCG, trojan.com/MCG to trade with us. You can get up to 45% cash back, 50% on referrals, while also earning gold for a potential airdrop. So trade with us, guys. It really helps the show, and we appreciate Trojan bringing that segment to you guys today. Also, remember that you can jump in the arena for your best chance to escape the trenches, win daily jackpots, accumulate gold, and earn from quests. $5 million in soul rewards for early users. So, it's a good way to position for a potential token and airdrop while also supporting the show. And there are some really good benefits. I think that's one thing that's key with trading terminals today. All of them do very similar things. I think it's pretty clear, but you want to position the ones that are going to give you the most bang for your buck. So that's what Trojan's doing. That being said, Josh, I'm not sure if you want to pop back up or if you're going to hang out off stage. Your call.
No, and really great commercial there, Dom. Actually, that's the one. That's the take. But your internet lags, and it's just like your video's frozen while you did it. So that sucks. But really, really good commercial. We're gonna get a clean version of that, guys. We're gonna edit it up, and we're gonna use that. That's our
I mean, I'll give you your own recording. How's that sound? I don't have to use this one.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, something I wanted to point out about Trojan, like, so every trade that you make, like anything that you do on Trojan, right? Like add stuff to your watch list and all that, like you accumulate these like gold points. And this isn't a part of the ad, guys. I'm learning about the terminal just like you guys are. But you can basically go to the arena and the arena tab, and I'll even just let me just pull up a spoof wallet real quick and just show you guys, because you can literally pull up on the arena and you can go to the jackpot as well. So here is my screen. Bang. So here's my screen, and basically you can go to the arena, and it might be a little bit small, but as you can see, you can close positions with profit. You can buy launches pre-migration. You can make a certain amount of trades, trade different tokens, claim rewards, trade a certain amount of soul, and you get these ranking in terms of points, right? And these different ranks, you accumulate gold. So anything you do on the platform, it could be trading, it could be limit orders, it could be anything. You accumulate these gold points, and basically, you can use these gold points like at this like jackpot section. So you claim your gold points, and you go down to this jackpot, and you can literally just enter. You just use the gold points as entries, and you can see here that some of the past winners of people who've participated, they've won 15 soul, 10 soul, 20 soul, 30 soul. A lot of people have won a lot of a lot of prizes, and again, they're $5 million in rewards. So you kind of like ask a question: where's all this coming from? It's not just trading fees. They've actually put money towards these rewards, right? So anything you do on the platform, as simple as even setting limit orders or trading a certain amount of volume, that's really cool. Really cool.
Hey guys, it supports the show.
Yeah. Real quick, Lobstar, we were just talking about that before Ethan left, and honestly, great takes from Ethan. He has such a clean way of looking at this entire narrative. He has such a clean way of breaking down, how he's positioning and thinking about these different assets. So really appreciate him, taking the time to come on the show. We hope to have him back on again for you guys. So glad you guys enjoyed the interview. But I did notice here, Lobstar, look at who he quote tweeted, huh? Look at who he quote tweeted, huh? Little MCG stream notes. Even the AI agents
the AI likes
love our stream notes, man. Come on, let's go.
Shout out Josh, man.
One thing I
Nice.
wanted, another thing I wanted to take a note. I don't know if you guys looked at Bean lately. Dom, I'm so sorry to bring this up. But I have to for the sake of the
No,
show.
please do, bro. Bean's been going crazy.
Bean has been absolutely ripping, bro.
Oh my
Absolutely
Look,
goodness.
and I'm happy being side. I just want to see things running, bro. Just
Yep.
bring back everything running, and I'm happy. Even though I'm fucking sidelined for all of it, dude.
We
Look at
talked
that.
about it here yesterday, and I was like, no, like, I'm gonna target, some downside here. I don't really know, but Ponzi's don't care about TA, man. Like, if the Ponzi's good and it's running and it's working, then that means price can be rational, longer than you can be patient. So yeah, that's going crazy. It's up about 2x since we covered it on the show yesterday. I mean, I really wanted to pull back on this, but geez,
You want to see a
that's some
chart?
that's some crazy price action. Yeah, let's do it.
Ethan brought us back to the AI run of the virtual days. Pull up you remember Ray, certainly. Pull up FAI.
Oh
FAI.
yeah.
Oh geez. What am I gonna see here? FAI.
And I don't know the lore here. I don't know what's going on. But
Goon blocks. Oh my gosh.
Jesus. Yeah, sometimes I'm scared to pull this up. Let me do the let's do the airdrome pool. Let's see what we got. Jeez. Holy Jesus.
I don't know why, dude, but that's just ripping.
It's up 500%. Actually might be a little bit more than that. Let's see. Just from let's start with the 1st of March. Just from the 1st of March, we're up. Yeah, just almost 500% here. Almost 500% off the bottom. That's actually crazy. Yeah, I mean, anything on this?
I got no idea. I literally just saw it not long
All
ago.
right. Well, let's do this. Let's do some live DD real quick. See if we can track down what the heck is going on with this, because stuff like this, when things start running, I like to look at pullbacks, right? Like something comes off the bottom really hard, it's going to pull back, and typically those things, like, a chart like this is signal strength. So here's a tweet that I saw. Faye just went from 11 mil to 55 mil in 5 days. That's what happens when you ship real infra. ML.Inc. by Fraser is AI agents deploy front end plus back end autonomously. One MCP server handles everything. X402 payments via base incoming works with Claude Code, Codex, and OpenClaw. The autonomous economy is being built on base. Okay, I need a little bit more information. Like, so it's powering some sort of like economic activity with agents, but I need the specifics, man. I need the inside. Like, what's going on here?
It's good
Building
rotation
full
though,
stack.
out of old tickers. You love to see it.
How's Ray doing? I think I saw Ray pumping the other day. I think Josh and I actually covered this. I again wasn't sure why, but on the old ticker narrative, I don't know why some of these I can't even call these dinos. We have real dinos that are still in the top 100, but like it feels like dinos at this point. These dino coins pumping.
So, real quick before we move on to Ray, I wanted to cover the thesis around Faye real quick. This is actually pretty crazy. It's building a sovereign, like, agentic framework for AI agents. Let me see here if I can quickly pull up the thesis, because there's a guy with a huge thesis on this.
A guy with just a huge thesis.
That's so crazy. Well, I'll just pivot to this here. Friend of the show, my motto, I rule the trenches. He said, infra for sovereign agents is huge. Basically, that's the part that got me. There's a screenshot here that basically there's sovereign agentic frameworks where agents can hold their own keys with like no human custody at all. They have an MCP native deploy platform where agents can ship their own infra. They have agent to agent coordinations for DeFi. So like they have all of this built, you know, and it's very similar to, remember when the Canadian government asked MetaMask to shut down the wallet for somebody? Like it's that type of tech where it's you know, it's sovereign in that no one can, it's out there now and no one can control it. Agents can use it without you know, any human involvement one way or the other. So I think that's the quickest DD we can do on that, because I can't find anything else. But yeah, I think that captures the thesis really well. Sovereign agentic tech. So I'll keep an eye on that one. You know, obviously really strong bounce here off the bottom. Let's check out Ray. Ray's
Spill
an old
says,
favorite of
pretty
mine.
sure it just got shilled by AI God. So maybe
Yeah, it
part of
did.
it.
Yeah, it definitely did. He was the one who wrote a thesis about it, and I was trying to find it on his
Link
page.
that I rule the trenches tweet.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah.
Got you. So we got Ray here. Let me fix the wait, this is Ray?
Bro,
Oh,
it's
it
been
is.
off the
It is.
pump.
This is on a 3-day. This is on a 3-day. When has this like, oh shoot. Yeah, this is a new chart for Ray, isn't it?
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if yours isn't loading or this is a different pool. This is an aerodrome pool, so maybe there's I mean,
Yeah,
here.
let me just check real quick. I got the Uniswap pool coming up here.
Yeah, rip the uni.
Boom. Yeah, because I knew I had some charting on this. I'm like, hold on. Yeah, so I caught Ray initially back here, literally I was at the airport, and I was slamming buys right before I got on the plane, right here at like, it was under 10 mil. It was like 8 mil or something like that, but it was under here. And I was like, babe, I gotta get this entry, or we will gladly miss this flight. Like, I need to get this entry.
Wow.
When it launched, and it went absolutely like crazy off that.
I remember messaging you back and forth about Ray, and there were some others that launched around this
probably
time.
Serve
Yeah,
and XMW.
Serve, Ray, and XMW all launched around the same time. I'm like, man, we're finally getting like
those
like
were
really good
cornerstones of like last year stream.
Yeah,
all did
those
really
tickers.
well.
Dude,
And
100%, dude.
both Serve and Ray had pre-sales too, which were not, and maybe XMW as well, which were not like doing really hot at the moment. So these kind of brought back the pre-sale meta.
I don't think these were pre-sales.
No? What did it launch?
No, I think these are just like fair launches that like just had hella demand behind them, I think.
Okay. Because I remember for Serve specifically, Serve had there was a specific price where Serve had early investors in. And so I remember doing like,
maybe Serve did, yeah. Maybe Serve did. I know
Yeah, maybe
XMW
that's
was a fair launch, because that's actually like one of the things that they stood on, was like, yo, we're fair launched. And I think Ray as well. Yeah,
we're fair launched, bro. No, yeah, okay, valid. Either way, these all did really good. That was like a nice time to be in the trenches.
100%, bro. 100%. But yeah, let me see here. That was good to see Ray doing well again, though. This has popped up since February. Looks like it popped like 2 or 3x off the bottom, or like 3 or 4x actually off the bottom. Let me look at some recent action. Let's put this in context. Yeah, so it popped up and it's just kind of forming this. I don't even want to. It's really hard to chart these up. Like, these literally get zero volume.
No wedge there.
Nah, like a bull flag, I was gonna say. But it's really hard. Like that's the bull flag that I would kind of drop. But kind of. It's not the cleanest. Price action is like the volume isn't the best on this, because the volume's what, 166K for a 26 million market cap token. But anywho,
What's liquidity?
That's Ray. Liquidity is pretty good. It's well, it's 400K, but it's two point something mil on the
other
on the
pools.
aerodrome pool. So I think liquidity wise, it's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Dude, can I tab over and look at this? Because this is crazy to me, bro. Like these numbers are crazy to me. More than 1 million people are now signing up for Claude every single day.
Jesus.
And again, bringing it back to Ajaz, shout out Ajaz, been rocking with his posts a lot recently. This has gotten insane now. 1 million people are now signing up to Claude per day. Let's assume half of them buy the cheapest tier, $20. I think that's being a bit generous, but we'll give it to them. Assume half of them buy the cheapest tier, which is $20. That's $10 million in revenue per day. They just broke 20 billion annualized revenue, up 6 billion from 14 days ago. Gen Z adores them. Number one app adores them. Gen Z adores them. Number one app. What am I saying? Never seen momentum shift so fast in one company's favor. Anthropic's rise needs to be studied. And again, like this goes back to what we were saying. OpenAI turned into government shills. Anthropic said, we ain't giving you that data. The flippening happened. Bro, 1 million people are signing up to Claude per day. I mean, that's insane. The revenue growth in 14 days, they went from 6 bill to 20 billion in annualized revenue.
And
Like
you
that
said
is
that's
sick.
Okay. You said that's Claude.
Yeah, that's Claude.
Yeah,
that's Claude.
I think it's because of their stance with the government, bro.
Yeah,
I really think like they stood on business, and a lot of people respected that.
This is them totally like this is. I wouldn't even say it's because of them standing on business. This is because I guess it started from them standing on business, but this is OpenAI cannibalizing their own business, like completely selling out. Their sellout. I mean, yeah, immaculate timing for Claude to be like, we're not gonna, do this to our people.
Yeah.
We're not gonna give out our data. And then OpenAI just directly after being like, all right, we'll give you all whatever you need. And people are just like, okay, we're going to Claude. I think it's like a layup.
There's this speaking of kind of like some of these frameworks. I'm gonna share my screen on Ginseng Huang, the CEO of
say that again. That was very
pulled out
deep
the accent,
breath.
dude.
Yeah.
Wait, how I said that with an accent?
Jansen Huang.
Huang. Yeah.
Yeah, I think you went Blasian on him, bro.
I went a little Blasian on him.
Yeah.
I went a little Blasian on him.
Have you ever seen Rush Hour by chance?
Oh yeah, this is Jackie Chan and yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Classic.
Damn, he ain't give me in Rush Hour 3. Oh man, so
But tell us about Jansen Huang.
Jensen Huang. Nah, but the tweet here says he was at Morgan Stanley's conference. He said OpenClaw is probably the single most important release of software probably ever. If you look at it, the adoption of it, Linux took some 30 years to reach this level. OpenClaw has now surpassed Linux. It is now the single most downloaded open source software in history, and it took 3 weeks. I think that's mostly powered by crypto. I think that's mostly powered by the virality that came from our space. So we started that. We did that.
That's us. At the very least, we got the
stand on business.
Yeah, we made Claude code powerful or open.
Yeah,
sorry,
they didn't code anything. We did it.
We
but we did get the ball rolling. I will.
Didn't even claim the fees, and we still got it out there.
Yeah, somehow crypto got damaged from it, though. How did that happen? We got the ball rolling. They hate us. No, you're right.
I still think it I still think it highlights the importance of, or I should say the advantages of tokenization. Like, yeah, there's a ton of questions like right now, but like the fact that like the virality around OpenClaw was like it really reached these levels because I mean, yes, Twitter and whatnot, but the tokenization aspect, it really did like proliferate, across the space like really quick, and it encouraged people to build on it. It encouraged people to tokenize, and that's really what's like driving. And then now these viral stories are coming out of agents generating revenue, so it's like it's pushing forward the entire narrative, and it's reached the inner sanctum of the inner doors, or I should say the inner rooms of NVIDIA. Crypto Jones, Chill. Settle a bet. Settle a bet. Me and my gal got going. Are you half black or Asian?
He's Blasian, guys. Did you hear
I'm
it? Jensen
Blasian, bro.
Huang, bro.
Ginseng Huang. You feel me?
Just
Oh,
guys,
man.
just go watch Rush Hour. Honestly, that's all you gotta do.
Okay, here's
Why does Chill? Why does he have to be half black or half Asian? What if he's like Mexican?
no, it's half black or Asian. Yeah, like why can't I be Mexican, bro? Why can't I be why can't I
What's
be
your favorite Mexican dish? This is how we should do it. Okay, this is how we can semi-dox Chill. We're just gonna go through ethnicities, and he's gotta name his favorite dish, and whichever one just doesn't make sense, we eliminate.
Bro, I'll
So,
dox myself. I'm Indian.
of course. Of course. Wait, that wasn't part of the debate, Crypto Jones?
Yeah, like I couldn't be Indian, bro. Like I couldn't be like. So give me the thought. Like what? Like why half black or Asian, and why just half? Like I can't be full.
Full on, bro.
Oh wait, what was your question? What'd you say? I knew I was smelling something. That's crazy.
I wasn't even gonna say it, bro. I was just gonna leave it.
My bad. I just kind of came out with that one. I just kind of came out with that one. Nah, I was joking though. I'll help you settle the bet, Crypto Jones. I'm full black. You know what I'm saying? 100%. 100%.
No Asian in there?
No Asian.
Isn't it notoriously, I think black people and Asians, they're kind of, they got some beef, I think, here and there.
For real?
I think so. There's some beef in cultures, you know. I wouldn't say it, you know, it's not everybody, but
yeah.
Cap.
Spill
Yeah,
said
that's
Cap. I don't hear. Wait.
I was gonna say, bro.
Nah.
In 10 months,
I'm
I've
not,
never heard the fire alarm once.
I'm not. That's because I'm not your average. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Talk to me.
Doesn't hear the fire alarm. Yeah, that's funny.
Nah. Spill. I love it, bro. We like to joke. You know what I'm saying?
We love
I love
a little
these.
banter, guys. Yeah.
That would have been the dead giveaway, huh? That's
Yo,
why
for real.
there would have been no debate for Crypto Jones. Yeah.
Dang, he ain't even give me the full black, bro. He just gave me half. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm half black, half Asian.
Yeah, Spill. It's all love. Spill.
you
It's
guys are
all
wondering.
love, homie.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay, yeah, let's talk about bags here, man. This hackathon's kind of crazy. It's kind of tied into the open claw here because this is nuts. Bro, they're slinging off 100 Mac Minis. 100 Mac Minis, bro. Okay, so here's the bag hackathon, which I actually think we're going to see a lot of pretty cool entries for this. So we're going to be tapped in, bro. You already know. Introducing the Bags Hackathon. Win $4 million in funding for developers building on bags.fm. Build good tech, win cash. Simple as. Start companies. We're distributing 1 million in grants to 100 teams that ship real products with real traction. The remaining 3 million will go into the Bags Fund to support builders with capital, distribution, and more. 100 winners are selected. 100 winners are selected based on real traction, on-chain performance, app usage, and growth, potentially early traction and growth trajectory, weighing heavy in our evaluation. Applications are reviewed on a rolling basis. Apply now. Be accepted in the first cohort. 100 winners.
Wow.
The top 100 projects each receive a grant between 10,000 and 100,000. 100 people are going to win this, bro. Like, you got some good chance. If you got something cooking, throw it on bags. You know, talk to MTG. We'll help you get on bags. Get in contact with the team. And you could win between 10 to 100 bands. Winner can apply to the Bags Fund for ongoing support while listing capital and more. Projects that ship get traction will be rewarded. Where's the Mac Minis, bro? Blah, blah, blah. Here are the rules. You guys can go read that. Where are the Mac Minis? Boom. We got Floyd May here. Why can I not pull his picture up, dude? I think Finn posted this exact picture. We got Mr. Floyd Mayweather, Money May, 100 Mac Minis. Every hackathon winner receives a brand new Apple Mac Mini. That alone, I can see San Francisco right now. San Francisco's in an absolute frenzy. 100 Mac Minis. They're applying for this hackathon.
I wonder when they're gonna run out of Mac Minis. Not gonna lie.
I thought there was a bit of a shortage.
I thought so too.
So I'm not sure what kind of wizardry Bags is using to get their hands on 100 Mac Minis, but shit. nonetheless, I think this is going to be pretty cool for bags. I think we're going to see some good. It might actually bring some interest back to the Solana trenches if they can get some really good people launching and building on bags. I would imagine that's criteria, Harry. Like you got to launch a token, right?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
LP. But I thought that was pretty money. Wednesday, guys, next Wednesday next week, tap in on this note of bags. We are doing the final stream. They have a 100K ongoing challenge for their new app store, right? Bags has done something really, really cool. This is not sponsored, by the way. This is just showing love. Bags has done something really, really cool to where they've integrated an app store. So you can actually use fees to buy stuff directly from the Bags terminal. So buy Dex boosts, buy Mobi pop-ups, CoinGecko listings, whatever it might be. I'm not sure exactly. Burn stuff, right? There's a whole bunch of different apps on there. It's really cool. They have 100K ongoing hackathon, 50K to the community, 50K to the token of the winners. I think it's for the highest market cap token that's using the Bags app store. That's ending Wednesday. We're doing a Bags streamathon. We're going to have the top 5-6 projects on basically for the final stretch here on Wednesday to basically make their case on why they should be winning this competition. So tap in with that. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, any notes on the housekeeping there?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it well. Josh?
Yes, notes here is if you go to this tweet, you'll find the link to see the standings of all those projects, which I know it's not on their site. It's not very linked, very clean, so you kind of got to find it. And then also, if you BNN Bags is going to be posting the clips. So if you come on as a project, so tag projects that you want to see on this on Wednesday, let them know that we're doing this. Their clips will get on the BNN Bags accounts. We're going to work with them to like get those clips done right away and on BNN for you guys. And then, yeah, just DM MCG or myself. So this is the tweet.
Boom. And there's some good applications. I'm scrolling through and seeing some big names apply. So I think that'll get the ball rolling. Hopefully it brings back some attention on Solana. And I think there's a good chance GST fits in there, maybe for like the 100 bandos or 50 bandos, at least 10 bandos, I'm thinking. So some of the ones we've covered on here probably have a good chance. Josh, you wanted to cover this a bit. This is Unibrowse, and Lewis, who we've had on, has been making his runs. He was, I think, in Mountain DAO, so he was on Solana recently for a podcast. He was on a startup podcast. So he's been doing his rounds here. He posted this, the only chart that matters. Josh, do you have any context?
I have no context other than we watched this guy go from trying to explain what he's building on our show, and then in a month and a half being on at Jason's show, and then like putting numbers up like this, and his tokens at like 400 or 500K market cap. So just wanted to put this all on everyone's radar,
And this is not for we did a streamathon with him, basically going over contestant submitted videos for AI generated like advertisements. I'm assuming that is separate from this because he's got a few products.
Yeah. No, what's sticking with this is like basically it creates APIs out of your website for agents autonomously, I guess. And that's allows agents to like call the servers directly and not need to like crawl the website, is what I understand from it. But go watch the Jason segment. There's 10 minutes there where Jason really knows this stuff more than I do, or we do probably, and he asks the right technical questions. But can you open the chart as well, Dom?
Yeah.
Throw open a Foundry chart.
I got you.
But another example of a builder who's like stuck around post Believe days and just kind of kept iterating and has found something that worked.
Okay, let me pull this up real quick. Sorry, bear with me, guys.
Dude, your internet is horrendo these days.
No,
like,
no,
absolute dog. Is it?
We got to talk to the HOA.
Had nothing to do with internet this time. I just had to make sure there wasn't people. I I don't know why.
Like your
imported
face
wallets.
is frozen. Your face is
Oh,
like
is it?
frozen.
No, it's
Yeah.
not now. It's not now.
I think that's
No,
a
I
Europe
went not now. Is that no? It was been doing the last few days. I don't know.
Yeah, it has. It has.
Okay,
It
okay.
has. No cap.
Yeah, I mean, look, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. But here's the chart. Here's the chart. And this is Gake's wallet on here, I believe that you're seeing. So chart looks pretty good.
Know. I mean, chart looks like it's survived.
Look,
you
I'll
know,
tell you
but-
this. It's nice to see, and having a token, I can see it be a lot of pressure, but it's really nice to see a crack developer, because no matter what you want to say, Lewis is a crack developer. It's nice to see them persevere and find product market fit, right? Maybe it wasn't the AI advertisements, kind of a big pool there. You're fighting against Sora, fighting against some pretty good models. But Lewis knows exactly what works in the tech world, and he's kind of like iterating and trying to find product market fit. I'm glad to see he is. So that's a really nice thing to see, is just the persistence there. So that says a lot about someone, in my opinion. But I'm good. I did put out the tweet, Chill. You had mentioned, you had talked about it a little bit or commented on it. Do you want to discuss this? Because I do think it's a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah, I definitely wanted to run through this. Go ahead and just for anyone that isn't aware of the take, go ahead and give your full take on it, and then I'll respond.
Sure. I put out this tweet yesterday. I was actually at this, whipped it up together. And so this is what Chill had to say. But so the take here is, and I quote tweeted Lukai, who had started to make money. And the tweet here was, look, these agents are printing. We just talked about Felix, Juno, Kelly, Claw. They're printing money. They're doing really well. The issue is, like, you're funding these people's experiment, but you're not going to see any upside on it, right? And so, like, this is when it started clicking. We had Profit from MetaDAO on not so long ago, really debuting his Futardio platform, which is the permissionless side of the MetaDAO launchpad. It started clicking. Okay, well, these experimental agents are doing really well. People want to get this new stuff that needs fleshed out, and it happens to be these agents that are creating zero human companies, building businesses, and doing really well. The only piece missing is you as a holder. You are really playing the attention game, exactly like Ethan mentioned today, rather than actually playing the upside game where, okay, if this agent does really well and it builds a studio, a SaaS studio like Kelly Claude or Felix is doing, and they have 100 apps and all of them are generating revenue and they keep putting on more apps, well, you want a piece of that, right? What if one of these apps goes and pops off and starts making 500K a month? You as a holder want a piece of that. And I think the perfect fit comes down to, okay, now we have a platform like Futardio where I can go and spin up an agent, or I can sell an agent, whatever. I can go and raise money for this agent on Futardio, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50K raised funds, guaranteed. Now I have a token. I have funding, except the people have control over the IP and control over the treasury. So if it does do really well, they can make the decision, okay, let's dividend out some of this money. Okay, let's use some of this money to go and buy. Look, Felix's agent is doing really well. It's making a ton of money. We want to acquire Felix's agent. Raise a vote, pull out 10K, go and buy Felix's agent. Now you have kind of like an AI firm where you have a firm that owns, controls a bunch of different AI, all with revenue flowing back into the treasury. Okay. And I think that kind of clicked for me. The difference is these are AI, these are experiments that are really, really cool. And we're watching them closely, and we're even investing on the attention. But now imagine that, well, let's actually have the ownership and IP rights over these agents. And you can do that through Futardio. I think that's one of the coolest concepts that has yet to be explored. So, like, this was not even a shill. It's like, I got nothing to shill you. It's just, if this could actually manifest into reality, I think it'd be a really, really cool experiment. And this is maybe the best way to actually have agents on chain. So that was a full take. Sorry, it was a bit long-winded, but that was my thought process.
No, not long-winded at all. I think that was a perfect take. Yeah, I mean, look, it is an intention game. I would say that these tokens have a little bit more fundamentals tied to them than most others do. Like, just like before, how can I say this? It's half a meme coin and half a utility, like half a fundamental coin, right? Like, because it's memetics around the agent, the attention. I mean, yeah, for the most part. But then on the other side, you have revenue, you have TAM, you have you know, the distribution that we talked about with Ethan. So there's still a lot of things that can you can kind of tie and justify the attention that it's getting. And so it's almost like meme coins with fundamentals, like I guess you can say. But yeah, like I think ownership would be a really would be a really good way of mm, I think ownership would be a really good way of kind of tying these things officially down as far as like giving them truly intrinsic value. I think some of the coins that we see out, they already kind of justify that value because, you know, something like VVV, for example, that like the token is literally, you know, a part of how that technology functions, right? Like the token is a part of the demand loop. Um, Whereas other tokens are a little bit more mimetic. So I think this entire narrative, you'll have tokens that, you know, there's a 100% AI agent token, and for some, you know, the dynamic or the split of it shifts, right? Maybe most of it is revenue, utility, fundamentals, and there's a smaller amount of mimetics. Whereas others, maybe there's more, um, maybe there's more mimetics than there are fundamentals, or maybe some that it's just like perfectly split half and half. Whatever the case may be, I don't think this narrative needs I don't think this narrative needs ownership. I'll tell you why. The marginal buyer is are mostly like ETH and base OGs. So they don't need ownership to buy some of these things because they're willing. Like I see it all the time. Like the ETH traders, bro, they're different. They look at the markets a little bit different. Solana traders, like we're like super like mercenary capital. We can't trust the other guys that are in the game theory on the Solana side is completely broken. So we need something to justify holding this token because someone could dump on my head, or the mercenary capital that's buying after me or bought before me can easily drive the price down. Whereas the game theory, how it works on base, is a lot of the capital is more patient, it's more long term. You even heard Ethan, he's 100% a base trader, and he hasn't put on a trade, you know, for months. But now that he sees something, he's not holding it so it can go to 5-10 mil. He's holding it for the hundreds of millions. So like the thought process around these tokens, the marginal buyers around these tokens are of a much different demographic than what you see on Solana. So to answer your question around this thesis, I think for Solana AI agents to survive, perhaps we could need some sort of you know, underlying futarchy model. But on base, they don't need that. And the difference between the two is simply the marginal buyer. You have more mercenary capital on Solana that are quick click traders. They're more so thinking about their exit, you know, way before, or maybe just as they're entering. Whereas, you know, on base, you have a lot more patient capital that's willing to buy, hold for a long time, and that will you know, play out in the chart.
Banger take. Banger take. I don't know, guys. I'm pretty much good. Community, if you guys have some tickers you wanna drop in here, we can cover those. But I think hot off the press, I got nothing else.
Dude said hot off the press. I haven't heard that in a long time. Yeah. Let me see here real quick. Let me see if there's anything else. Excuse me. See if there's anything else that I want to go through here before we
Did we
dip.
cover a macro? We covered macro Bitcoin, right? Did we cover Sol and all that stuff?
I don't think so. I don't think we did, actually. Not today, anyway.
Okay. You wanna peep that?
Yeah, I want to peep that, and then we can end on this video that I got queued up. So let's go to macro.
Oh, and by the way,
I
oil
also
continues to push.
I don't know, bro. It's pulled back a little bit on my screen. It hit 92.50, and it's now at like, it's pulling back a little bit. So I'm gonna keep watching this, because again, like I talked to you guys about the setup yesterday, right? Like Josh gave you the 150 oil setup. I gave you the setup if it stops at 100, right before $100, right? the poly market, they have $100 outcome option. The yes and no shares, as we get closer to $100, will be more skewed to yes. Right now, I think the yes shares are like 72 cents or something like that. So as we get closer to 100, that's going to get priced in, but maybe we don't tap 100, because really at the top of this range here is $95, right? That's the top of this oil range. So what if we only go, maybe $95, maybe we wick a little bit above it, and then we start to make our way back down. That would be the time to position in the no share for the $100 outcome. So that's something that I'm watching. But let's see how that plays out. Let's look at Bitcoin a little bit here. Macro. I actually have like some new stuff here that I'm working with on my setup.
Look at that. Colorful.
So it's let me take it off. So what I told you guys like 2 days ago that I'm kind of experimenting with this this new liquidity heat map. And let me just make sure real quick that I am let me just fix the
there's a
visibility on
liquidity
some of
heat
this
map
stuff.
indicator. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what I just uploaded. So let me show you guys a little bit on that. All right, so here's the what I literally covered this, and you can go back to our stream on Monday. I literally covered this between Monday or Tuesday, and I basically said, hey, look, I'm looking for this thing to pop up, fake out on the break of the resistance, capture some liquidity on the top side, and then just make its way right back down to 60K. I want to show you guys this heat map here in a second. Let me pull that up right now. So this heat map is more so for Confluence. For anyone that sees me trading these charts, just know I'm a very simple trader. I know all these like indicators and stuff like that, they might look a little fancy and whatnot, but for the most part, like all I want to do is just stay as simple as possible. So I start with support and resistance. I've traded only support and resistance for a long time until I added something. I added, support, resistance, and trend lines, right? But then I also added fibs to my setup. I added order blocks to my setup. I added market structure breaks, like you see here in the red on my setup. So layer by layer, I'm just stacking one thing at a time. And as I feel like I get comfortable with the old setup, I just add one more thing. So I'm comfortable with my old setup. We've been calling some great entries and exits here. And so now I added the liquidity map. And so this liquidity heat map, basically, it shows you on the above side of the price, buy side and sell side liquidity. And just for the sake of this, I'll just edit the sell side liquidity and view that in blue. At the top right now, we don't have much sell side liquidity. We have that. You see that here at and maybe I need to make these a little brighter for you guys, but you can kind of see that. You can kind of see that there. Maybe I go full screen so you can see it a little bit better. But here you go. Buy side liquidity is at 80K and 78K respectively. What you see below, though, on the sell side liquidity, these things trap things like limit orders. They track liquidation levels or stop levels for leverage trades. And what the liquidity heat map does is it puts all of those levels together, and the darker the color on this heat map, the more price will tend to want to grab at that liquidity. So you have an environment right now that's more manipulative, right? Like these larger entities are manipulating the chart on Bitcoin, and they're causing this, right? Like this spike to the upside to trap traders and then liquidate them out of their trade. And what they've done is they've trapped late longs here, looking to liquidate them. They already have. Now they're going to liquidate. They're going to further go for some of these long liquidations down here. And so these late longs, some of them are already stopped out. What they're going to do is hunt further below. This orange is this orange part of the chart here. That's what you call a magnet. It's a point of control. It's where the most liquidations, the most limit orders, the most liquidity is at that level. And typically, it's a magnet because price tends to go towards that level. But before it does, it typically deviates. So we saw this deviation above, we trapped, and now we're heading back below. I did close my short because I feel like, we could potentially like bounce back up to 70, 71 ish K. And I'll look to re-short. But I don't like being in leverage trades for very long. I like to kind of, make it a multi-day hold at most. But overall, on a higher time frame, we're looking to trap and again, go towards this magnet down here at the 60K level. Maybe we reach for more liquidity at this cluster at 59K, but overall, this support level at 60K, I'm looking for us to wick below it at minimum, at worst close below it on a higher time frame. But either way, I'm looking for some sort of action like this. All that to say, we go down, maybe trap some liquidity below, and then bang, we hit back up. It's a range, guys. This is a range. And right now, there's liquidity resting here, here, and here that this chart will look to target. So I'm looking for us to hit all of those levels before we get a meaningful move to the upside. So I'm short now, but at 60K, I'll then flip long and we can go crazy. Which is why I want to position in stuff like now, right? Like all the stuff we're talking about on base, the Felixes, the Kelly Claudes, all the stuff on Solana, the Psyop Anime, the Lobstars. I want to position myself in that stuff now. So that way, as we flip to the other side, we can actually enjoy those runs. So that's the Bitcoin breakdown. Anything from you guys?
Nothing from my end.
Awesome. So real quick, pretty much same setup here on ETH. It looks weaker than Bitcoin, and on the liquidity heat map, it looks like we're going much lower than what Bitcoin can go as well. It looks like we can go, all the way down to, 16 to like 1700, maybe at most, 1600 on ETH. But again, not looking for us to really like spend a lot of time. I'm looking for us to wick to those levels and then reclaim key areas. And as you can see on a high time frame, this green line without the heat map is a key level here at 1753. So when you look at 1753 on this, again, this green line here, this is the key range for us to stay within. So if we go below it, I'm looking for a wick for us to quickly reclaim back into the range and then consider some upside from there. At the very least, target the red line at the minimum at 2100. So that's ETH. Solana, I'm paying a lot of attention to Solana here. I'm not sure if Solana makes it all the way down to the POC magnet that we have on the liquidity heat map, but just without the liquidity heat map, I'm looking at Solana as being making pretty big moves here moving forward. It's been showing a lot of strength against BTC. If you see the weekly here on the Solana BTC chart, Solana has broken this downtrend that it's been in for, or rather broken this uptrend that it's been in since the start of the cycle. And now it has hit a very key support level on the Sol BTC chart. So what this chart is indicating is that Solana is about to outperform Bitcoin. So I'm looking for Solana ecosystem to outperform. Anything narrative wise running on Solana, I'm looking for that to outperform as well. And for Confluence, we even see ETH looking to outperform ETH as it's getting ready to bounce from a key level here on ETH as well. So just some stuff there for you guys to be aware of on the macro side as far as Bitcoin, ETH, and Sol. Still waiting on Fartcoin, man. Like it does not look good at all right now, but this one stinks. Yeah, it does not look good, but I am still like really interested in, I'm even more interested in a hype long. This is the next long I'll take. So after Bitcoin has basically, tapped the liquidity target below at like 60K, wherever it bottoms out. It could even go as low as 50K. I'm not really sure, but I'm just looking at overall, I'm short Bitcoin now, and then I'll look for price action to develop to then go long. I'm not going to guess 4, 5, 6, 7 moves ahead. I'm just going to wait and do things level by level, one at a time. And so when Bitcoin does hit that low and price action shows evidence of a reversal, I'll then go to switch to a hype long, because I feel like Hyperliquid has already proven it's outperforming the market. And I feel like when Bitcoin is in an uptrend, it will absolutely outperform, especially with the recent news around the legalization of perps trading in the US. All right, long-winded macro take. That is it for me, gentlemen. We can go ahead and wrap this. Guys, chat, hope you guys are really enjoying this. Hope you guys are really enjoying the show. We are headed to a macro Bitcoin low here, and looking at a double bottom. The summer bottom thesis is fully in play for me, and because of that fact, I want to show you guys this last video to close out the stream, because we are entering what I like to call domination arc.
When I got here, I dominated. They thought I worked 100 hours a day. Get it through your head. First impressions last. You start behind the 8 ball, you'll never get in front. Life is this.
Domination arc.
When I got here, I dominated.
Awesome show, by the way. Suits, the first 3 seasons of Suits are goated.
Yeah, I really love that show. I
watched a little bit. Didn't get too much into it.
That show is actually shot right where I used to work downtown Toronto, where all this is shot. Yeah.
No way. Are you serious?
Great show. Yeah, great show.
That's so crazy. That's so crazy.
Put Meghan Merkel on the map. So
that's so wild.
Oh yeah.
That's so
no
wild.
Comment. No comment.
No comment. No comment.
Play it again. Play it again. Harvey Specter.
Mama.
Play it again.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's run it back. Let's run it back.
When I got here, I dominated. They thought I worked 100 hours a day. Get it through your head. First impressions last. You start behind the 8 ball, you'll never get in front. Life is this. I like this. When I got here,
Well, boys, appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's stream. One last thing before we close things down, I want to go ahead and remind you guys to trade with our friends here on Trojan Terminal. It is your place to trade. You can trade on chain, Solana, perps. Soon they'll be activating the EVM side. Looking forward to that. But a lot of great things, a lot of great rewards to be had on this platform. Looking forward to trading on this platform. Frick. Looking forward to trading on this platform exclusively. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. GG's, use our ref, shill it. You know, we got to. I'm shilling the ref link, but you see it at the bottom.
QR code in the bottom left.
Yep, you see it.
Trojan.com/MTG, baby.
/@MCG.
Oh, you got to add the ad?
Yeah, you got to add the ad, man. Or just go to the link in my bio. Follow me at ChillTRD. GG's, homies.